Hello and welcome to Twist of Fate. My name is Varvus and I will be your GM for the evening, and we're playing Deathwatch, the Warhammer 40,000 role-playing game written by Cubic 7 and produced by Fantasy Flight Games. Deathwatch is a pen and paper role-playing game, much like Dungeons and Dragons, where instead of playing adventurers, our players take on the role of the Adeptus Astartes, or Space Marines, who have been tied to the Long Vigil, or Deathwatch, as part of an elite kill team. These kill teams are tasked with the most perilous missions possible within the Imperium to protect them against the ravages of numerous alien menaces or dark heretical forces. This campaign in particular is known as the Puritanicals, as it follows a kill team working for the Inquisitorial Conclave known as the Puritanical Six. Each player is playing a Space Marine from a chapter of their own creation. They homebrewed it themselves. Speaking of, let's meet Kill Team Ignis. First up, we have the newest member of the squad, Apothecary August Tel Aviv, of the Knights of the Blanched Hollow chapter. Zarek, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Zarek. I have a small library of Warhammer books, and I've made it my entire personality. Now, August does not go to Tel Aviv for his holidays. He goes to Teluv.
I can never get the surname right. Next, we have the squad's Devastator Marine, Barbas Danasi, of the Herald's Devout chapter. Croc, do you want to introduce yourself?
I am Croc. I play the resident Daka boy, Barbas Danasi, and I shoot real good with my special eyes that can see on radio wave.
Is that in real life, or is that the character?
That's up to you to decide.
Cretin.
Next, we have the squad's librarian, who just decided to speak in there, Dima Makarov of the Alchemists chapter. Aaron, do you want to say hello?
Hello, yes, I am Aaron, Xenos specialist man, who does what he can to kill me. Yeah, no, that was terrible. Pass, yeah, next one.
Alright, fantastic. Next up, we have the squad's resident hothead and blood-crazed maniac, the Assault Marine, Garfield Victus of the Grim Wardens chapter, played by my mate Ed.
Hello, I'm Ed. I'm from the north, like Centurions. Enough said.
That actually sums up Ed perfectly. Right. Next, we have the squad's Tech Marine, Konstantinos of the Golden Wardens chapter. Maxi, do you want to say hi?
Howdy, I am Maxi. I am the resident Tech Marine. I really like planes. I'm from the south. I like planes.
Thanks, Maxi.
Enough said.
Enough said. Enough said. Last, but certainly not least, we have the squad's resident wheat toast crunch, tactical marine, Sala of the Midas Saints chapter. Tom?
Hello, I am Tom, and I run the Astartes Anonymous YouTube channel, podcast, and shorts, as well as the Discord. And I guess I too like planes, and trains, and automobiles.
Okay. Solid movie reference. Alright.
I'm trying to do something with what we got. I'm working with what I got, alright?
I didn't get that, man. That went way over my head.
Bruh.
It's a classic film.
Star over here.
I like me.
Right. You join us a little way into this campaign, but just as a new adventure dawns for Kill Team Ignis, who have just returned from another perilous mission, in which they deployed a bioweapon known as the Biophage against a newly established Tau colony. And without further ado, let's get into the episode. I hope you enjoy. So you guys have all just returned from Mesros 5 and are being put into quarantine because you've been dealing with a bioweapon. They don't want to take the risk of you guys infecting the watch station, infecting watch station Zalfron and murdering everyone. So you're in quarantine for a week. And during this quarantine, obviously, August, you've had a bit of a malady appear on your skin, haven't you?
Yeah, it's funny wee little stigmata. We love it.
Funny wee little silver stigmata. And so you've had to have been taken away for examination by the apothecaries. And the apothecaries do their examination, they go through, they test, the chaplains have a test, the librarians have a test, and you are sent back to the quarantine with a clean bill of health. You have been told by the chief apothecary, which would be Chief Apothecary Furos of the Nova Marines, has cleared you and told you, yeah, you're fine to... there is no taint. This just looks like a malady of your gene seed.
As August comes in, Garciel will quite aggressively approach.
Cousin August, what is the verdict from a chief apothecary?
Nothing out of the ordinary. I am baffled, frankly, brother. This is, according to the chief apothecary, standard behavior within the parameters of my gene seed.
I'll speak to the chief myself before I come to that conclusion too.
Have at it, brother, but you shan't get anything more. You're no apothecary, no librarian.
I can sense any taint of corruption.
Perhaps you'd like to try smelling for it this time.
I'll get up close and sniff. I'll head off.
August, what is the Vox line?
Here.
He'll pass him a data slate. I presume he's walked into the room with a little data slate of the rundown. It's got details for contact and the medical reports.
Just got Papa John's at the bottom.
Number 9.
Does the data slate give details on the report as well? Or is it just the information?
There's a bit of details. It's quite scant, and they would be sealed off because it's gene. Giving away chapters secrets of their gene seed is kind of like a big, huge no-no. So it'd be fairly scant on details.
I'm gonna read what I'm allowed to.
I'll go up to the Vox and call up.
So you're basically placed on hold for a while. You connect straight away, but it's they are very clearly kind of too busy to take your call, and you're just kind of left with the old elevator music. After a couple of minutes, about 5 minutes or so, eventually the kind of Vox crackles into life, and you hear this very stern and calculating voice coming across. This is Furos.
Chief Apothecary, I've heard that Cousin August was in your care.
Yes.
Come to ask about his taint of corruption.
It is not corruption. It is a mild skin malady. We have had chaplains and librarians study it. It is no more than a simple malady of the skin.
You are sure?
100%. It is much more in common with the salamanders and Raven Guard than it does with any sign of taint or chaos.
Then why did it appear after our interactions with the forces of chaos?
The stress placed on the body. The black. Many chapters are afflicted with much worse maladies, and if memory serves, your own included.
I hang up. And I'll confidently walk over to August.
Hold on. Fuck.
Yeah, meanwhile...
That's good. Whilst Brother
hold on,
Garfield...
give it a sec. Let everyone
Oh my
fucking
God.
take a minute.
Oh yeah, Maxie, you were asking. Yeah, they're probably the only notes that they would be unredacted might be records of elevated activity in the Millennium.
Okay, Google, what does millennium mean? Believe it or not, that's actually one of the words I do know. I don't actually need you to answer me, bitch.
You're a tech priest, so you're actually Googling it. He's just like pulling out your dick.
I actually know what millennium actually is.
So whilst Brother Garthiel is having a moment with tech support, I guess, Brother Sala is going to go to Brother August and take him aside. Not like run away with him or anything, just, as far as Sala's concerned, what he's about to say is between him and Brother August. It's not a group thing. It's, it's for he and August. So Sala's going to sort of put his hand on Brother August's shoulder and say, Brother August, on my homeworld of Muskan, there exists a tribe known as the Hajar Bedouins. They dwell deep beneath the planet's surface, far from the blistering sun. These people have lived in the shadows since long before the Auric Brotherhood ascended to become the Midas Saints. Without the light of the sun, they have become what we call the Coldskins. They have dwelled there so long that their very flesh has thinned to near transparency, veins visible beneath, their lips tinted blue. Many would call them mutants. Yet Reclusiem Artor hails from the Hajar, and he is the greatest man I have ever known. What I mean to say, brother, is this. I know not the nature of your affliction, but in my eyes, you have already proven yourself a man of honor. If this anomaly stirs concern again, you shall have my unwavering support.
My thanks, brother. I appreciate your support in this, but I'm not ready to forgive myself for this alteration. I am an apothecary. I should be the purest of you. And to see it sow division in this squad, I want to fix it, brother.
The Emperor knows his own Brother August. Follow his light. Follow his guidance. Come to me if you need prayer.
I may do. My thanks, Brother Sala.
Sala's gonna nod, and instead of holding Brother August's shoulder, he's just gonna give it a playful slap and smile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, August gives the hint of a smile.
And then Garthiel heads over.
And Barbus will tail shortly behind.
That's never a good statement. And then Garfield hits over.
Cousin August.
Yes, brother.
He's kind of turning around, getting a little bit more solemn in the face now.
The chief apothecary has given you the green light for now, but I swear on my oath, I will keep an eye on you.
I would that you all did, brother.
And I'll walk off, and angrily.
Yeah. In the small room.
Into a corner and sulk.
Into the corner and sulk.
And once Garfield has walked off, Barbus will also say his piece to Brother August. Brother August, though the apothecaries may have cleared you of suspicion, and I do trust their judgment, you have proven to be tainted by the warp or some other malediction. You have yet to prove yourself worthy of being in his light, and I will watch until you have done so. And then it's gonna walk away. Because it's someone else already said something to the effect, man. There's only so much you can do.
We just sulk in the same corner and high five.
Yeah, high five. We're suspicion bros. Yeah.
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 Moving on, your quarantine comes to an end, and you are all given that rarest thing of Astartes, some downtime. Any XP you've spent is now applied. You've gone through some training. You do your Rocky montages, and you are fully healed of all damage and wounds, and your fate points are fully restored. In addition to this, let's go through, and I kind of want to hear what everyone was in their kind of downtime between fighting and kind of sleeping, and you are all kind of out of your armor. Your armor is back in the armory, being disinfected, is being seen to administered to by the fortresses, serfs, tech priests, and tech marines. Let's start with Barbus. What does Barbus do in between practicing on the shooting range and sleeping?
Well, due to its performance last session, he will have immediately gone, and as soon as possible, gathered his personal heavy bolter from the armory, his beloved machine, and immediately taken to the firing range to perform the necessary maintenance to make sure it works this time.
Yeah. And what's Barbus look like?
So he's incredibly bold, even more so than some other people who may be in the squad. not saying any names, of course, but he is very kind of sullen-faced, sort of big old crease lines, very gruff, like a little bit of stubble, frown, face constantly in a bit of a frown, not quite there, not quite not, but you wouldn't be surprised if he was. And he's got running across from the top right of his forehead, right down through the left eyebrow, a real nasty fucking scar from some conflict he's fought in, because that's what Space Marines do. And his fatigues he's wearing are just essentially potato sack monk robes with a very shiny, well-kept golden Aquila necklace hung in between.
What's Konstantinos doing in between time in the sparring cages, firing range, and what little sleep an Astartes needs?
As of recently, he has been doing a lot of research on the technology that he has brought back to the base, the Tau technology specifically, bewildered by its soulless components and how to potentially turn it against the Tau in their own way.
Okay, and what does Konstantinos look like these days? Because I know he's had a lot more augmetics.
He's completely shaven his beard, and his hair has been brought from the kind of medium length it was down to just slightly longer than a buzz cut, where originally he just had a cybernetic eye. That surrounding area of the face, the right upper face, has been replaced by plating. Both of his hands and his legs from the knee down have also been replaced with cybernetics and bionics. He is also wearing a white toga. Yeah.
In terms of your augmetics, are they quite Spartan? Are we talking like the Iron Hands, how they do their augmetics, where it's basically, there's the pistons, there's the joints, that's all you need? Or do they put plating on to make them look a bit more natural? How's Konstantinos' augmetics kind of look?
They're very ornate. It would be akin to how an Astartes would decorate and paint and take care of their armor with gold trimming and all of that, but due to him being in the Deathwatch, the majority of it is just black. But there is some plating around to protect the more sensitive hydraulics and internal machinations. I used the big word, guys.
And Dima, what's our resident massive wizard doing in between getting in trouble at the practice cages?
The big whiz is going to go seek out the Salar, but should I give a description beforehand?
Yeah. Let's. What does Dima look like out of armor?
So Dima, much like the rest of the chapter, has this sort of yellowy green, pale skin tone, just from a bit of chemical overexposure. He's got his whole chapter has the red salamander eyes from being a successor and having the same gene flaws. He's got blotchy chemical burns all over his face, his body. He's also incredibly bold, like more bold than Barbus bold, despite what he says.
Lies.
We'll see about that. But he wears like the sort of traditional, less fancy than the image I posted, a Russian sort of robe, leisurely gown thing. There's a name for it. I forget what. But yes, no, Dima is going to go seek out Brother Sala.
Yeah, okay. August, what are you doing in between your sparring and drilling?
So August has been waiting on a particular requisition for some time, and during one of his free moments, makes his way to the armory in order to pick up a power axe. It's not particularly ornate, and it seems to be a little bit acid burned along the hilt and handle, but he picks it up with a degree of reverence, and in the same sort of muttering prayer that one would make commonly to their devices and machines, he says,
Silam, I am here to reunite with you. I hope I can only do honor to your previous wielder.
Before he returns to his private quarters. In terms of his appearance, though, he's a bit of an odd fellow in terms of Space Marines, particularly because he doesn't look that different from a human in terms of his face. He has features that might even be considered pretty or handsome. He's got a sort of strong jaw, relatively smooth skin. All of it just doesn't sit right on the massive shoulders of an Astartes. But below his head is a body glove, over which he wears a teal and bright red tabard in a quartered design. a lot like the heraldry borne on his shield and his chapter pauldron.
Is this axe specifically from your chapter, by the way? Is this something that the Deathwatch has kind of ferried here for you?
No, this is not from his chapter. This is from his old kill team.
Ah, yes. Do you want to just quickly explain that?
Yeah, so I think, Var, you mentioned earlier that August is the newest member of the squad, and this is because he was assigned to the squad after the rest of his old kill team was wiped out during some event. He's not actually talked much about it to anyone, save inquiring about the state of his old kill team squad mate's gene seed.
We do not talk about the event.
We don't talk about it.
Garthiel, what are you up to?
Garthiel heads down to the fighting pits, picking up the occasional serf as he goes along. As he just looks at one as it's walking, like, "Serf, come with me."
Oh, yes, my lord. And they meekly follow, absolutely terrified.
For about 20 serfs total, and head down to the fighting pits as I ask them all to enter.
I feel like there's some worried looks from, like, the fighting pit attendants who know what you are and who you are.
As I get out my chainsword, as I look at them all.
Oh no!
Like,
no.
serfs, line up.
What's that fucking line the youngling says before Anakin kills them all?
Master Skywalker!
Master Skywalker!
They're everywhere! What do we do?
There's too many of them!
Garfield chainsaw revving intensifies. Yeah.
Instead of it's the...
No, so I feel like since he's just nicked 20 blokes, there's going to be some small logistical nightmare happening on the station. Like, where the fuck is everyone? Where are they going?
Why is no one rubbing oil into the servo skulls?
Who's going to light the candles? just cuts a Garfield beating the fuck out of 20 dudes.
Alright, Garfield,
Brother
you're in the
Garfield, have you seen the candle burn? Brother Garfield!
With a steel chair, no!
You're in the fighting pits. You've got 20 serfs in front of you. You're standing there with your chainsword out. What are you? How is Garfield dressed?
So Garthiel is dressed in sort of a giant cloak made of multiple boarskins sewn together, a belt sort of wrapped around him with loincloth underneath. Sort of like Conan the Barbarian.
Okay. And how's Garthiel's face look?
Garthiel's face is quite a pale, like, it's a very, very pale face. It's got like a few sort of shallow scars scattered across it. A single stud, because it's quite young. He's only in his mid-100s, like 150s-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got, I think the correct facial hair term is the Franz Joseph.
What? The Franz Joseph?
If I Google that and see a sex act come up, you're in trouble.
So that sort of facial hair with sort of long, all very dark, like very dark brown, as his blue eyes sort of shine through.
Okay. So Garthiel is standing, this fucking Conan the Barbarian, looking. Actually, there is one detail you forgot about Garthiel, because what does he always have around his neck?
Around his neck is a vial of water, the occasional bubble finding its way to the top and popping as his voice gets louder. Serfs, today you'll be taught a lesson you will never forget. Bear these arms, as I'll throw down a bunch of wooden weapons, and I will teach you to fight. Not with me, but with each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The serfs would... Yeah, they'll pick it up. They will be somewhat already competently trained. These are Astarte serfs. They get a little bit of instruction from Astartes when they have the time. But That's mainly to be used in desperate circumstances, should, for example, the watch station ever be invaded. Sala, what are you doing?
Just because it's in the order of my notes, can I start with what he looks like, please?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. So, Sala stands with a long, flowing magenta robe. It's kind of holy in appearance, with tight wrappings around his wrists and necks and a long, flowing garb behind him that would, to anyone, any Imperial familiar with their different Imperial bodies, it would draw similarities to, say, an Imperial priest. He has a sharp black beard and some very intense dark eyes that sort of together give him this sort of very calm aura, the embodiment of calm, you know. He's almost ruggedly handsome in appearance as far as Astartes go, with very striking eyelashes that complement his bronze skin. However, this is undercut by the classic bovineness that comes along with being an Astartes that all of his brothers save August share. When he moves unarmored, he does so with a degree of grace, so much so that to a space marine, it would be apparent that trained discipline has been instilled into his very movements. Movements his brothers would see him making as he wanders to the Reclusium, as he says, "Should any brother require me, I shall be in the Reclusium, in prayer to the Emperor. I would welcome company." And then he sort of totters off to pray.
So, obviously then, Dima, you would know exactly where to find Sala. The Reclusium is a very large sort of area of the watch station, for those who don't know. The Reclusium is essentially the Astartes chapel. It's where the chaplains reside, talking to brothers, giving speeches, leading people in prayer. But very unusually within the Imperium, this is kind of a multi-faith chapel within the watch station, as the Deathwatch has to cater to chapters with a host of different religious traditions, some of which are atheist and still cling to the imperial truth of the pre-heresy Imperium. And it's kind of more like a rec center where there's like rooms that can be booked out, and they have lots of equipment to accommodate many different faiths, from the Salamander's self-branding rituals to the Imperial Fist flagellations, which are devoid of the religious meaning of the prayers of the Black Templar. However, the majority of this chapel is dominated by this classic Imperial kind of standard Adeptus Ministorum church aesthetic. A big statue of the Emperor, pews, lecterns, skulls, cherubs, high arched Gothic ceilings, and stained glass windows. And Dima, you would find Sala, I assume, pray. How does Sala pray?
So, for Sala's chapter, the Midas Saints, prayer is a humbling thing. I mean, I suppose as most people of faith, prayer is a humbling thing. So he will always be on his knees in a holy space. He will be on his knees with his, could be with his arms across his chest doing the imperial salute. It could be further down facing the floor. It could be staring up into the ceiling with his hands on his lap. But whatever it is, he is on his knees. I think it really depends on what the purpose of the prayer is. In this case, one could assume that he's just got his arms crossed across his chest doing the imperial salute, because this is very much just an in-between space for him.
Okay, so Dima, you are within the Reclusiarch and you see Sala like this. What do you do?
Brother Sala, may I have a moment of your time?
Of course, brother. What do you need?
Yes, your swordsmanship in the previous mission was quite impressive. Do you think you could show me a few of your moves from Muskin?
You are interested in the Muskin sword dance, brother?
If you will show me any, yes, quite.
I shall assist you, but I require something first.
Do tell.
I will help, but only after you give a heartfelt prayer to the Emperor. He hears us always, brother. Let your faith be known to him. To do any less in this space would be rude.
Yes, you are quite right. And Dima will just get down on one knee and put his hands together.
Do we have time to do a quick prayer?
Yes, you can do your quick prayer.
Okay. Brother Dima, repeat after me. Holy Emperor.
Holy Emperor.
Guide my blade and the blades of my brothers.
Guide my blade and the blade of my brothers.
Let our strikes be swift and true.
Let our strikes be swift and true.
Our swords an extension of your wrath.
Our swords an extension of your wrath.
May we carve a path of righteousness in your name.
May we carve a path of righteousness in your name.
And may no foe stand against your chosen.
And may no foe stand against... Line?
Your chosen, Brother Dima.
You're chosen. Yes.
Thank you, brother.
I thought that was a middle bit. I thought there was something else I missed. I was like, fuck, it's something, you're chosen. I couldn't remember what was your chosen. I overcomplicated it.
It's alright, it worked out. Did you want Dima to, in character, forget the line there?
Fuck yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Okay. I do think it is a very, you have, like, the statue of the Emperor in front of you, looking down on you, framed by these stained glass windows, these two solemn knights of different cultures kneeling before it in, prayer, and then just line.
It was a Muscan. It was a native Muscan prayer. That's why Dima didn't know it.
Yeah, exactly. Cult. What would the cult be for Muscan? Cult Musconian.
Muscan.
It's different from the planet than it is from the Space Marines. For the Space Marines, it's simply called the Martyr's Creed.
Yeah.
The planet generally, though, adheres to just the Imperial Creed.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
August would actually like to go and have a word with Konstantinos.
Okay, yeah. So, obviously, Konstantinos is not too hard for August to find, as Konstantinos is currently in the Forges, aren't you? If you're kind of studying the Tau tech.
Yes.
Yeah, so the Forges, this is a good, I've never got to describe the Space Marine Forges before. So the Forges of Watch Station Zalpharon are kind of this multi-connected, modular, like kind of series of hexagonal pods. Within each one is like different laboratory studying equipment. It literally seems like the Mechanicum is able to come and like just bolt new ones on as is needed to the station, and that they're also able to be detached at speed. The actual like storage facilities are elsewhere, but like the Forge's productions and laboratories are very much modular and kind of outside of the defensive patterns of the Watch Station. Because as a kind of a reminder of what the Watch Station looks like, it is essentially this solid, defensible black brick in space with a bunch of other elements bolted on by corridors. So, should the Watch Station come under attack, really it's defend the central citadel, and everything else kind of just gets jettisoned. Yeah, which means probably thousands of serfs would die, but it's 40k, so who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so August, it's not too hard to find Konstantinos. And yeah, you are you kind of working in one of more of just like the labs, not really at one of the forges where they're actually producing stuff, or?
Yeah, I'm specifically researching the Tau explosive I've previously brought from the last mission.
Oh, so you're in one of the blast-proof rooms.
Yeah.
There's probably a few smears of the last unfortunate serf who had to do some research for an Inquisitor in here. So yeah, August, you come in, you see Konstantinos studying over this strange Tau cylinder that you recognize as one of the explosives you found in the mines that had been taken over by the Tau.
I'm glad that came to something. Yeah, August is going to walk in fairly confidently.
Brother, I was hoping you'd take a look at something for me.
Of course, brother. What is of the matter?
So he kind of comes up towards the station and lays his axe down with two hands in front of Konstantinos. But when he takes his hand away, you kind of see a coin resting on the blade of the axe. I think Konstantinos would recognize this one.
Yeah.
And August will give him a sort of quizzical look.
Could you tell me what this might mean?
And, August runs his finger along one of the acid burns on the axe. But the implication is there.
Konstantinos, hard-headed as ever, will purposely ignore the implication and just go to describe the acid burn of the axe. Do you mind if I roll anything to figure it out?
I'll go. Actually, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Varv, what would I roll?
I think this would be Forbidden Law Xenos in this case.
Of course it is.
This acid is not acid. These burns that appear like acid are not acid. They are...
Wow.
They are high-level necrosis.
Oh.
There are very, very few Xenos species that can exhibit this. You haven't rolled well enough to know what has caused this, but you know that there is a handful of extremely dangerous Xenos that could have done this. Essentially, the metal has been not quite rotted away, that's not the right word, but it has been selectively reduced.
Corroded.
Not quite corroded either.
Not quite corroded.
No, it's very, very strange. It looks like acid because whatever touched it moved like water.
Oh.
But yes, and where it touched, it dissolved.
Brother, it seems you have acquired a storied weapon. Has this been one of the things that you have requisitioned for our next mission? Or is it something to stay with you?
This is a personal keepsake, but it was about time I took up a proper weapon. I'm not a proclaimer anymore. I need to fight for myself.
It's elegant and storied.
Elegant is not the word I would use, but that is besides the reason I came here.
And he moves the coin down from the axe blade onto the center of the table, and just gives Constantinos a very hard look.
If you are so curious, the coin is supposed to represent unspoken trust between a newly appointed leader of a position of a squad within the Golden Wardens. It's supposed to be a sign of confidence. My chapter is notorious for getting themselves in situations that would lead them to do unnecessary self-sacrifices. It is supposed to help with not only reassurance, but confidence if another captain or higher ranked individual is to see that they have an amount of coins along with them. It is to show that they are experienced.
Yeah, I think August visibly relaxes. His expression becomes much softer. As soft as a Space Marine's face can be, really.
Don't you mean your human face?
Yes, his weird human face, but he's still a Space Marine, so he doesn't really smile that much. He kind of nods sagely.
I see. I must thank you, brother, for this token of trust, and despite the happenings of last mission.
You held your calm underneath a lot of pressure, especially from a more hot-headed of brothers, as well as your initial determination of redemption and use of mortals shows that you are not too overly confident in your ability and understand the use of every asset.
To tell you the truth, Konstantinos, my blood never ran as hot as our last mission. I have never felt such impudent rage as to when a people is so taken over by something so alien. I despise this species. May they be cast into the annals of history and remembered only as an extinct xenoform.
Believe me, I understand. Their technology is disgusting. There was nothing to commune with. It was just dead. Like the species should hopefully be done after whatever time has passed.
Our victory is certain, brother. We have the genophage. A species cannot survive with a weapon as potent as that hounding them.
Of course, but we always must be ready for any potential upset. Let's just hope that they don't get inoculated from the virus, or whatever the biophage is.
There's a moment where August wants to info dump, because he's an apothecary. He understands these things, but he recognizes that this is not the time.
Even the biophage is a bit beyond your knowledge.
Well, he understands the principle, presumably.
Yes, you understand the principle, but if you were asked to synthesize it, you probably couldn't.
No.
I mean, Constantinos is always down for a little bit more knowledge.
Oh, well, that's a good little close-up of the scene, is basically August getting to nerd out a bit to Constantinos as they both stand next to a fucking bomb.
With a power axe laid right beside it, by the way.
Yeah, power axe right next to it. So, a little time has passed, and you've started to notice a change in the fortress. There is more people about. You've even begun to see other Astartes wandering the halls from other kill teams. The whole fortress seems to be busy with activity and building up to something. It's your first time really ever seeing other Astartes, and at one point when you're in the barracks waiting for your kind of drills to begin for the day, in just a few moments where you don't really have any downtime. Garfield and Konstantinos, I believe, are already, though, in the fighting pits, practicing some traditional Golden Warden wrestling. Yeah. And meanwhile, in the barracks, Sala, what are you kind of doing in that sort of brief moment?
Sala is stood at his bunk with Ignis Renatus, his beloved sword, and he's tending to it, much like Barbas is tending to his heavy bolter. However, he is, instead of tending to it in a technical capacity, he's tending to it in a more spiritual one, giving it some prayer, just kind of talking to it. He's not in like deep thought or anything like that, but he's doing his rounds with the blade.
Yeah, so Ignis Renatus is kind of the namesake weapon of the squad that was given to them by their watch captain. Essentially, it was to act as a symbol of the squad being reforged as after, on a perilous mission, Sala's Muskin blade was destroyed by a Slort force field going critical and exploding to a miniaturized black hole. In the barracks as well is obviously Barbas and Dima and August. With Barbas and how he tends to his heavy bolter, is it like strip cleaning it constantly, or are you just checking the mechanisms every now and then, or?
Yeah, he has like a very procedural way of doing it. You'll strip the whole thing and make sure there's just not a fucking speck of dirt on the whole thing. Like very thorough as cleaning, but not so much so that he like might wear it down. Just incredibly thorough. Then once he's put it back together, you'll make sure, the slide's smooth, there is like not a hitch at the whole fucking thing. Then you'll spend a good 20 minutes just offering prayer to the machine spirit. It's a little incense dangler, wafting over it. He'll do that as many times as he sees fit, which is often a lot, because it's like his whole character, it's his whole thing.
Barbas is going to go up to, Dimo's going to go up to Barbas while he's checking out his bolter. Brother Barbas.
What is it, Dima?
In my search for knowledge, I have hit the speed bump that is you.
I will take that as a compliment, brother. Continue.
I would like to be fucking wheeze there, haven't you? I really completely threw yourself off.
You see, as he fucking says it, because Barbas is still staring at his bolter, his hands freeze up for a second because he's just a bit miffed.
Would you care to enlighten me as to the Devastator's relations with his weapon?
Are you sure your mind could handle this speed bump, brother?
I am fairly confident, yes.
Very well then. I would have thought it would be available knowledge to one such as you. But a weapon to a Devastator is merely an extension of their will upon their surroundings. For you see, there is naught that can stand in the way of me and my objective. When it receives multiple heavy bolter shells traveling at excessive speeds, blessed by the God Emperor himself.
I see. No, I like to. It is a. Well, yes, it is available knowledge. I like to I like to do my research in person. To person, you could say.
If that is all, Dima, I have much to attend to.
Is that... I imagine it's just like when an NPC in Fallout New Vegas ends a conversation and then goes back to their idle animation. Like Joshua Graham doing the Desert Eagles.
Barbara's enjoying himself, He's doing his fucking weapon maintenance. This walks over, calls him a speed bump, and then asks him how his gun works. Like, what do you mean?
meanwhile, fucking August just sat in the corner of the barracks going, I wanted to talk about chemistry.
Dima, tell me how you use that fucking anti-plant. I don't believe that for a second.
Anti-plant?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, do you not know about anti-plant weapons?
It's a chemical that it eats plants and nothing else.
Oh, yes, okay.
Yeah, they're fucking great. Barbus, who again has not once looked up from his heavy bowl to his brother Dima, it would seem that your knowledge is needed elsewhere with the apothecary. Leave me to my devices, and I will leave you to yours.
So it would seem. The Dima is just going to force eject the mag on his heavy bolter and walk away.
Are you sure you wish to do that?
Roll initiative.
Such a fucking health bar appears, Barbus Danasy, pissed off, devastated.
Oh dear.
Yes, Brother August, I heard something about anti-plant.
Alright. As you're about to get into a riveting conversation about rogue trader era weapons, a inquisitorial acolyte comes in a heavy black cassock with a sort of red tabard on.
No, we use it on my home mode, We got these living jungles. They're really bad news.
I'm sorry to interrupt, my lords. The Puritanical Six have called for Lord Sala.
Sala will get up and nod at the man.
Yeah, he's just going to lead you towards the chamber of the Puritanical Six.
So as I was saying, living jungles, yes.
Fade out from there. Sala, you're following along behind this guy through the corridor of heroes, where many relics and sort of the helms of great heroes of the Deathwatch have been laid to rest. This corridor is very heavily defended, very heavily armoured, because at its end is a pair of giant, ornate, silver reinforced doors, guarded by inquisitorial stormtroopers. And these great doors lead to the chamber of the Puritanical Six. The inquisitorial conclave that essentially operates out of what stations Alpharon and gives this particular Deathwatch station its orders. These doors slowly swing open as you approach the acolyte waiting outside, and as you step in, you see the familiar two spots of light within this room. The first revealing a large sort of area on the floor of the Deathwatch symbol on black stone. And it's completely pitch black in this room outside of these two kind of spotlights. And the other illuminating the high horseshoe-shaped desk that the Puritanical Six usually sit at for briefings. However, there is only one member of the Puritanical Six sitting there this time. And it's a member I don't think you've ever actually met. But your keen Astarte senses pick up another presence in the room. Two red, smouldering eyes lurking out from the darkness, watching you. A figure familiar to you. But before you have time to act or think, the Inquisitor pipes up.
Does Sala have time to just get on one knee as a quick sign of respect?
No. He's like, as soon as you step through the door, you register one person, second person, Inquisitor is already on you.
Yep.
And the Inquisitor just goes, My Lord Sala, please, come in.
Sala will now get on one knee as a sign of respect and just say, My Lord Inquisitor.
I do not believe we have ever had the pleasure, Sala. I am Kul Tamen al-Nahib. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. She is a Inquisitor, obviously, dressed in this kind of red robe trimmed with gold and like this kind of these white flowing tassels. The sort of symbol of the Inquisition is woven throughout its pattern, and atop her head is a simple white head wrap topped by a steel conical cone, and her skin is dark, and throughout it is covered in these like gold piercings. And she raises one of these pierced hands, the little sort of gold things dangling and jingling on her hand. She goes, "You and I, Sala, are from similar worlds. Mine too is a desert planet with a deep religious connection to the Emperor. As such, I extend to you my respect, as I expect you to extend your respect to me."
You are an Inquisitor. We are both emissaries of the Emperor's determinations. You have naught but my respect, my lord.
As such, I shall ask you a simple question, Sala, and I will take you at your word. Why did you kill my agent, known as Silas?
Sala's going to stand there in silence for a moment before he replies. Sort of a mortal could perceive the silence to be a nervous silence, but he's simply collecting his thoughts. I judge the operative to be a security risk. The last mission, it lacked both clarity and security. With human defectors rampant, he was not of vital importance. The life of one man was not worth jeopardizing the success of our mission.
Very well. I am satisfied with this response. In future, though, I would prefer my agents not be so needlessly sacrificed. However, I know well that in the matters of tactical expertise, the Astartes are my superior, and I will defer to your judgment and the judgment of your watch captain on the matter. Now I must beg my leave. There is much to attend to. And she stands up and disappears into the darkness. And even with your Astartes senses, you can't actually tell where she went. And meanwhile, there is a stirring in the darkness next to you as those two smouldering red eyes clearly take a step closer to you, the heavy footfall ringing out in the room.
As he does so, Sala's just gonna quickly get down to one knee in the presence of the watch captain that he so recognizes.
I see you have not heeded my wisdom, Sala. A brother of the Black kneels for no one. And stepping out of the darkness comes Watch Captain Varvarus, a hulking Astartes, not as tall as Dima, but just as broad, in relic Mark III plate, every aspect of which is beautifully handcrafted and maintained, and its heavy footfalls kind of echoing through the chamber. Arise, brother.
As Sala gets to both his feet, he says, "Your presence is an honor, Watch Captain. It is a privilege to stand in your company again."
You flatter me. I wish I could meet your flattery with more of my own, but I must speak to you as your watch captain. The death of Silas could have been avoided. I understand the tactical assessment you made, and in the moment, I might have agreed with you. However, caution and the preservation of Imperial troopers for further use is of paramount import. Silas was a skilled infiltrator and could have been redeployed on more missions.
My lord, last mission lacked a severe amount of security and clarity. The rampancy of human defectors present. My concern was letting the man go left a greater risk.
And as your watch captain, I understand that decision. I and the Inquisitor have agreed that your reasoning was sound. However, I would not be doing my duty as a Fireborn and staying true to the Promethean creed if I did not remind you, as your cousin, as your brother, that mercy is a weapon too oft neglected by the Adeptus Astartes. It is a weapon that we salamanders, and he puts his hand on his chapter icon, have forged into our greatest strength. Worlds return willingly when we stand before them and remind them of their oaths.
I understand, Brother Captain. On my homeworld, the love of man is held sacred. I see the wisdom in your words, and it shall guide my actions. I am grateful for your counsel, Cousin Salamander.
Very good. Now, you are dismissed. There is much to attend to. You may have noticed the fortress is abuzz. You will be summoned to the Hall of Eternal Vigil soon. Go be with your brothers.
Thank you, Captain. Sala's going to wander off.
Shortly after Sala returns, acolytes arrive to basically tell you guys, go to the armory, get your standard equipment, and report to the Hall of Eternal Vigil for in parade stance. And you guys go straight to the armory, and you get just your standard gear, and you are deployed. So anything that's signature, that is added to your standard loadout, so you just have that on you at the moment. And you head to the Hall of Eternal Vigil. So the Hall of Eternal Vigil is this large room with, at one end, a absolutely titanic golden door embossed with the bones of martyred Marines and these huge, carved symbols of the Deathwatch and battles of the Deathwatch from Watch Stations Alfron. And at the other end of the room is this stained glass windows depicting 3 great last stands of the Deathwatch Marines of Watch Stations Alfron. And to either side, along the walls, are these alcoves, each depicting a hero who has died in service of the Deathwatch. Their names are utterly secret. If you were not in the Deathwatch, these guys would be forbidden law. They are entirely outside of the regular purview of the Imperium. Because what the Deathwatch does, most of the time, is meant to be entirely secret. They are the Silent Shield. And inside the room, inside the Hall of Eternal Vigil, there is all of the kill teams of Watch Stations Alfron. 3 of the kill teams are deployed. There is even a very clearly more seasoned and veteran kill team deployed, stood in parade formation at the front of the hall. And you guys take up position sort of nearer the back. There is one more kill team behind you. At the sort of the end by this by the large stained glass windows is a sort of raised stage upon which is a lectern. This is the lectern that you guys kind of stood at when you were sworn into the Deathwatch proper by Watch Captain Varvus. Speaking of, who is standing at the lectern but the Watch Captain himself? His coal-black, scarred skin glistening in the coloured lights raining down on him from the stained glass, and the 7 silver service studs stamped into his head, glinting, and his burning red eyes scanning and surveying the room. And as you're all kind of just kind of stood at parade readiness, serfs are attending to kind of the edges of the hall, and Varvus seems engaged in his book. You hear this titanic thudding coming from behind the doors, and this great slow pace as the ground shakes, and you just hear this huge mechanical clunk as the doors fly open, and coming through them is this ancient, venerable Castafarian dreadnought. An assault cannon in one arm and a dreadnought close combat weapon in the other, and it stomps forward slowly, bedecked in purity seals and artifice. On its chest is kind of this big circle shield, and it's got the symbol of the Imperial fists. As the dreadnought enters, Watch Captain Varvus looks up, and he kind of freezes, his face fixing in place. And he just booms, "Aleri! They managed to awaken you. And you hear the tinny voice of the dreadnought respond across the hall. It took much time, but I have awoken. I am once more ready to bring death to the Xenos. It is good to see you again, Watch Captain. It pleases me you are still alive. There's kind of like a brief pause. Varvarus sort of hops down off the stage and walks over to the dreadnought. It's been over 100 years, Alari, since you last walked to war. I hope your aim hasn't faltered with age. And there's this big kind of deep robotic laugh. I hope your strength has not withered with frailty with your age, brother. And there's this kind of like thin smile appears on Varvarus' face, and he finally reaching the dreadnought, he puts a hand up on the ancient sarcophagus and just goes, The Watch is eternal, brother. And the dreadnought booms back. Only in death does duty end. And then Varvarus kind of looks, kind of realizes he's doing this in front of all of his kill teams, puts his hand down and heads back to the stage as the dreadnought stomps over to the corner. So Varvarus looks up and clears his throat, very clearly wishing everyone to forget what they just saw regarding the dreadnought. I am sure you have all noticed things are amiss in the fortress. It is rare to see the full strength of a watch station assembled. I myself have only seen it 3 times in my 700 years of service. I am sure some of you are worried what could require such a force. Let me assure you this. It is not us who should be concerned. For when a force such as this gathers, it is the enemies of man who should cower in fear. The Tau Empire has seized a number of worlds across the Timbra subsector, and others. To answer this insult, a crusade has been called, and Zalpharon marches to war. Of the Puritanical 6, only Lord Inquisitor Kaidak will be joining us on this endeavor. Otherwise, we'll be working with Inquisitor Cryptman and Crusade Command. I myself have already received a number of requests for missions from Inquisitor Cryptman. However, I and Crusade Command agree that our first act must be reminding the people of Timbra who they serve. Each of you are being sent to a world to show how the Emperor deals with traitors. Data slates have been prepared on each of your targets. And he gestures to the serfs standing at the edge of the room, who quickly sort of shuffle out, handing all of you data slates. These targets are not to be slain, but to be brought before the Crusade, judged and executed publicly. The people of these worlds need to remember, we are his angels, and treachery is unforgivable. Now, for your assignments. Kill Team Tenebrae, you're the most veteran kill team stationed here. We have lost contact with a number of stations on the edge of the Ultima Segmentum. Your duty lies in discovering their fate. I want to know what has happened to my brothers. Kill Team Lumen, you'll be tasked with the capture of individuals on planet Garrus. Make them suffer, but I want them alive. Kill Team Ignis, you will be tasked with the planet of Kleist. There is a particular priest who needs to be reminded who his god is on that world. Kill Team Fides, you will be tasked with the planet of Badin. There are bureaucrats there who need to be reminded that wars are won with blood and not paperwork. Our forces have already hit the sector in advance, and the Tau have been sent running into the void. They are in full retreat. As such, we expect little to no resistance on these worlds. This is a show of force. I want an overwhelming victory to help bring these worlds to heal. Your actions on these missions will be forever remembered in Imperial history as the opening of the Damocles Crusade. May the Emperor guide your hand, brothers. Dismissed. And the whole room is abuzz with activity as the kill teams begin to move out, heading towards the armory to requisition equipment and off to their transports to join the Crusade or investigate the edge of the Ultima sector, the segmentum.
Whilst there's sort of this big hustle and bustle, Salah's going to quickly put his arm, not put his arm on, but sort of tap or slap Brother Garthiel's shoulder, and he's going to say, "Look, Brother Garthiel, the Emperor's light shines upon us. He wills that your chain blades be lubricated with the blood of Tau filth."
It is about time.
Hey, Editing Varv here. So one of the things you might notice here is that me and Croc got new mics for the second recording of the pilot. So, going to be an uptick in audio quality, hopefully. Mission start. Mission codename, Show Trial. Primary objectives are as follows. Capture Archdeacon Elias Abri. Capture Master Logisticar Carthuga de Laurel. Capture Planetary Governor Harvand von Tor. Secondary objectives are as follows. Neutralize any Tau you encounter. Destroy any Tau propaganda you encounter. Tertiary objectives are as follows. Inspire loyalty in the local populace. Find any intel relating to the location of Puretide. Squad lead designated as Dima Makarov. Oath of knowledge taken. Requisitions are as follows. Barbus, plasma gun. Garthiel, chainsword, restraints. Constantinos, cartograph and 1 combat pouch. Dima, restraints. Sala, restraints and red dot attachment. August, hand flamer and chrono. Some time has passed since you have been addressed by Watch Captain Varvarus, and you have now been sent essentially to the edge of the Damocles Gulf on your very first mission for the Damocles Crusade. You have been sent to the world of Kleist. You are currently on a Corvus Black Star, descending down through the planet's atmosphere. Kleist is a very deserty world, but not so much dune, more just kind of barren and a bit parched, very similar to the last world you were on. However, rather than a mining world, this is just an Imperial standard world. It is on standard Imperial technology, Gothic architecture dominates. Kleist's main resource for the Imperium is just people. It's just a standard tax-paying world. There are billions of planets like Kleist. It is, in fact, the most kind of common. You are currently, obviously, in a Corvus Black Star, driven by Gracchus, your local friendly Space Marine, Tech Marine pilot.
Yeah, love that guy.
Oh, it's back at the controls.
He's back at the control. He's back in action after a very serious trip to the apothecaries. So if you remember the inside of a Corvus Black Star, it's a bit like kind of a Thunderhawk's interior where you're kind of strapped into these harnesses, but there is kind of a lot more technology about the place. It's a lot wider, it's a lot flatter, there's lots of sensory equipment all over the place to help stop it being detected. But the interior is relatively standard for Space Marine vehicles. However, there is, of course, the emergency disembarkation single-person drop pods, which were used by the squad on a previous mission, that have obviously been restocked. The Corvus Blackstar is descending down through the atmosphere, heading towards the planet's capital city of Vasha. As the Corvus Blackstar pulls in closer to the city of Vasha, you hear a cracky, tinny voice over the Vox in your helmets. 60 seconds till landing.
Cousins, are you prepared to show these mortals the Emperor's finest?
As he wills, brother. As Barbus, with his limited maneuverability, gives a sign of the Aquila, like a little baby arm style.
May they pay they don't try our patience.
And with that, the Corvus Blackstar lands straight in the sort of open plaza of the kind of the center of the city. In a very, public display. You would know immediately, tactically speaking, this is the worst place to land. 100 ambush spots, but as established, this is a show mission. You guys are really here just to flex on the Tau. So
Demo will start taking off his armor in that case.
The sort of doors to the Corvus Blackstar go down. You guys are free to disembark, and once more of the Vox Gracchus just chimes in and goes, If you need me, give me a call on the Vox. I can redeploy you to anywhere within the city, and have been cleared to provide supporting fire.
We won't need that.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
As the Emperor wills it.
We're definitely gonna need it.
Yeah, famous last words, dude. We are cooked.
I was about to say, Garthiel, you're jinxing us. Ooh.
Yeah, you are. I assume you're all disembarking. No one wants to stay on the Corvus Blackstar, do they?
No.
Actually, I've decided I don't want to kill the Xenos today.
I want another circuit around the city, Gracchus, please.
So yeah, you disembark. You are now just stood in the center of this city.
What's around us?
So around you, essentially, it's a nice park plaza. Very large, very wide. Pretty much directly ahead of you, maybe a mile or two away, is the Planetary Palace. It's big, it's huge, it connects straight to the spaceport of the planet, and oh boy, is it big and defensible.
So we should go the other way.
One of your targets is the Planetary Governor, who is probably there, if anywhere. To the east is the Shrine District, where you believe Archdeacon Elias can be found, and to the west is the sort of Administratum section. There's an Administratum section to the west, and there's an Administratum section to the north. You're not quite sure where the Master Logisticar is, so there's a big question of finding out where he actually is.
What's south?
South is just hab blocks and factories.
Yeah.
So I think we're being witnessed at the minute. There's probably people around, right?
Yeah, there is definitely some civilians gathering and watching on the far edges. I think they're trying to hide from you, but being as you are Astartes and they are untrained mortals, they are pretty easy to detect.
Okay. And what echelon of society are they from?
Middle class.
All right. So there's not factory workers, probably scribes and things, right?
Yeah, Administratum workers.
Okay. These should be good Emperor-fearing people. Yeah, August will take his helmet off and yell,
Servants of the Emperor, prostrate yourselves, for your salvation is at hand.
Some throw themselves onto the floor, gibbering in fear. Some flee.
Heretical scum.
I must admit, brothers, the primary focus of our mission disturbs me.
How
How
so,
so,
brother?
cousin?
How could an archdeacon of all people betray the Imperium? This is wrong.
These Xenos are foul in their ways, brother. No doubt they'll use some linguistic magic to convince an otherwise Emperor-fearing servant to their heinous side.
The general populace, sure, But an archdeacon, a holy religious figure? This is unheard of. I would like to speak to him myself.
It does not bode well,
You
no.
would be surprised.
But that is what we are here to see.
We will certainly speak to him, and more should we see fit.
Are there any posters around? Any, like, Tau propaganda?
Yes,
Oh,
there would immediately be noticeable.
Gaffney beelines it.
There is so the first piece of Tau propaganda you would see is in the center where there should be a good, imposing statue of Imperial authority. There is an empty plinth with a holographic projection on it. It is the crystal clearest holographic projection you've ever seen, and it is literally of Archdeacon Elias shaking hands with an ethereal.
I punch the console as hard as I can.
It's up on like a bit of a raised plinth, so you like just jumping up there and like gorilla smashing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Xenos
Give me a
tech
strength
scum.
check.
Is there any, like, paper or cloth
actually
or
decent.
burnable propaganda?
Not that you can see around you. This is kind of the main thing you can see is this like hologram projection. But yeah, Garth, you just like jump up into the air, both hands, bring them down, and you just smash this wonder of technology into sparking bits.
August is going to kneel down to some of the people he terrified into prostrating themselves. He's going to ask them,
Children of the throne, what has happened here?
Oh, please have mercy on us, my lord. We did not abandon the Emperor, we swear.
There will be time for your penitence yet, child. But tell me, how has this happened?
The Xenos, they came with gifts. They improved our health, improved our standards of living, spices, trade, new technologies, marvels. We were led astray.
Many are the temptations of the heretic.
Salo's gonna, like, intervene here and very angrily shout,
You abandoned the Emperor for spices?
and he's going to sort of raise his pistol at this man's head. Is August not going to intervene? Because I'm going to kill this man.
Konstantinos is gonna try to, like, not put his hand directly on the gun, but kind of, like, hover above it. It's, like, not completely stopping you, but, like, Brother Salo.
Insisting.
It's a suggestion. Brother Salo, these people are kneeling before us. It would be not good word if we execute the ones willing to come back.
Salo's going to very slow, after a short pause of holding this pistol at the man's head, he's going to slowly bring it back down, and he's going to sort of look to Konstantinos and say,
You're right, brother. It's the Archdeacon who must face my wrath.
and he's just going to turn around and walk back to the others. Or over to, probably actually he's going to walk over to Garfield. He sees Garfield being violent with inanimate objects. So he's going to go towards Garfield.
Just going to turn around like, Cousin, do not let your righteous fury be quelled. Anyone who looked upon this Xenos tech heresy should be executed immediately.
What's Dima and Barbus doing in the plaza?
So Dima is going to be scanning around for any other bits of like Tau iconography or propaganda.
No, there was just the plinth. There's definitely the architecture is starting to change in this park. You can see that. What was once square, utilitarian, marble, clean, has started to become green and healthier, sort of whimsical flowing integrations of nature and statuary sort of littering the park now. It's a very unusual sort of design for imperial architecture. The Imperium kind of likes to stamp their seal on a world. The Tau like to integrate the world's fauna and flora into their architecture. They're a bit more like Shanghai, you know, those tall towers with like forests growing on them. Yeah. So that there's a bit more of like, this is a lot less Soviet Russia park and a lot more Shanghai park. Well, it's a Soviet Russia park that has been retrofitted into a Shanghai park. What are you doing, Barbus?
He's chewing very silently. He's quite angry. Spices, dude! Barbus will have been performing his final checks on his plasma gun to make sure it's not going to blow up in his hands.
Your plasma gun will be holstered right now because you still have your heavy bolter, right?
he will have unholstered his plasma gun and gently nested his heavy bolt on the ground.
Okay.
So he can do the maintenance checks.
August, you have this guy in front of you. He's frustrated. He's gibbering. And Sala threatened to murder him and then went away after Constantinos kind of soothed him for a sec.
I think August has learned this is what Sala is like. Sala will, at the drop of a hat, attempt to kill a mortal if they upset him. There seems to be a running theme at this
This is
point.
some bad characterization, I've realized.
I assume there's not just the one person, there's like 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
He's going to ask them very, as gently as a Space Marine can.
Where do you work, each of you? Where are your stations?
I'm an overseer of a transportation firm, my lord. I work a mere 3 blocks from here. One of the other ones will be like, I'm one of the administrators for the parks in this city, my lord. I was just performing a standard check and surveillance.
Administration?
Yes.
Do you have ties to the administratum on this world?
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, he's going to turn to Dima.
Brother, I think we have something interesting here. I apologize for the undue distress, mortal, but it is imperative that you help us find Master Logistica.
He's like looking at the name on the inside of his lens, taking a moment to try and actually understand how to pronounce this.
Cartathua de la Rao.
The unfamiliar name, like, sort of catching on your tongue a little bit as you struggle to pronounce it. Dima, you've been called over by August.
Yes, I'll waddle over.
Squad lead. It seems we have an administratum worker. This may be of use to us.
Yes, quite. Do tell, good worker. And tell us where the Logistica is.
Master de la Rao? He would be in the Central Administratum building to the north.
Very good. And what of the Archdeacon, if you know?
Archdeacon Elias? He has summoned a protest in the Shrine District to protest the return of the Imperium. I am loyal. That's why I did not go.
Is what he just said in earshot of Sala?
I am going to say yes, because you are on Astartes with the heightened hearing.
Is it also within earshot of Barbers?
Yeah, I think so as well. It's within earshot of the whole squad. Like, this guy is, like, talking normally in a park.
I'm gonna shoot this guy with my plasma gun.
Okay. Just fucking alright. He's 1 minute examining his plasma gun, whips it to the hip, and then just blows this man away center of mass.
Gone. Completely gone.
Brother, are you insane?
I am the most
You
sane
say as a shower
individual
of
here.
gore sprays over your armor?
We would converse with these heretics who gave up on the Emperor and his holy light for spice?
Heretic or no, that man was a useful source of information, as he was proving. And you decide to blow him up for no apparent reason other than our vengeance.
Was that the corruption in this place runs deep. It must be ripped out at the roots, or we have to do anything.
I do not disagree with that, but he could have proved useful for another minute or so before he
His
decided to
usefulness was
eviscerate him.
outlived when he claimed to be a loyal servant, yet served under the finger of the Tau. We will find them, as is our Emperor given right to do so, for we will seek out the heretic wherever they will lie. And he's gonna stomp off, really, really angry. He's really unhappy. He's miffed.
Where are you heading to?
You coming to the Angry Boy squad with me and Garfield?
Yeah. He's gonna go meet up with the other guys who are acting like Space Marines should in this situation.
Garfield's going to speak up to Dima, but Cousin Dima, there are still 2 more. We only need 1.
Oh, they fucking ran! They fucking ran! What do you mean there's 2 more?
I'll grab one. I'm faster than them.
You're gonna have to jump pack after one.
Yeah.
Are you going to jump pack, slam down in front of this man, and grab him?
Yes.
He is going to attempt to resist. Make a weapon skill check.
Heresy! Heresy!
Oh, Ed, you've just activated my favourite thing. Would you like a twist of fate, Ed? Now, to explain, this is the first time it's come up in the recording. A twist of fate is a thing I offer players when they fail a check by less than 1 degree of success. So in this case, Ed has failed his weapon skill check by minus 0.2 degrees of success. So that's 0.2 degrees of failure. If they so take this twist of fate, they pass the check, but I gain a resource to later be used against them.
Unfortunately, guys, I am contractually obligated to take this twist of fate as an example to our chat.
Excellent.
As the number one Twist of Fate hater, I support this action.
So you grab this guy by the left arm, so you can just pick this guy up by his arm now.
I'll make sure to squeeze it a bit.
He howls in pain.
Loyal servants of the Emperor, do not flee from his angels, mortal.
I'll intimidate.
Do you want him to stop resisting, basically, via this intimidate?
Yes, just go limp. Anything.
Yeah, all right. He goes limp.
It's annoying to drag them around when they're struggling, you know?
Yeah. All right. So you are literally currently you're just holding it up by his left arm, and the man is probably going to have his arm dislocate soon.
I'll just grab him by his chest with one hand and just drag him over.
Garfield comes back dragging a limp man who is sobbing quietly.
Squad Lead Dima, I have brought one of the mortals here.
I'll be dragging this mortal back with me, just scraping him along the floor as I just step by step, bump by bump. I'll throw him in front of Squad Lead Dima.
There you are, Squad Lead. More answers.
Why, thank you. Speak, mortal.
That is not words, mortal.
That's the best you get from him. Just
what do you know of the planetary governor, Harvard von Tor?
He's the planetary governor. He invited the Tau here. Everything is his fault.
Invited
yes.
The Tau, you say? And what do you know of any Tau populace on this planet?
There was a few. Most of them evacuated when we heard reports that Imperial ships had begun moving towards this area.
Do any remain?
I don't know.
I'll kneel down beside him, just chainsawed in the corner of his vision.
Are you sure you do not know?
There was evacuation bunkers, evacuation centers near the spaceport.
So there could still be some left if they did not make it.
Any more questions, Squad Lead?
None, but I do have one thing left. I'm going to roll to compel this man.
You dominate this man's tiny mind.
Brother Sala, could you join me
Sala
over here?
will, without saying a word, will step next to Dima.
I have given this mortal here a chance for redemption for his useful information. Now, as you did with me, would you care to repeat a prayer, and he will repeat after you?
Oh, no.
I'm going to be honest, Brother Dima. This man, all the men, women, and children on this planet, none of them, not one, is fit to give prayer to the Emperor.
Our job here is to inspire loyalty again, not eradicate the populace. And we must start small. This mortal here is that start.
Thala will get down on one knee and put his... He's still wearing his helmet. He's not unhelmeted, but he will get down on one knee and put his face into the face of this man.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say,
"Oh, immortal Emperor."
Oh, immortal Emperor. What's happening? Where am I? What's going on? My mind! He begins to flee in panic.
Again? I'll just grab him again.
Yeah, you can just catch
Dima,
him oddly.
Repent for your sins.
Your psychic powers seem to be a little bit ineffective today.
It lasts for 3 seconds. It's compel.
It is typical for a librarian, is it not?
Oh right, yeah, it's a one action, right? No, that's what Dominate's good for.
I guess it's having a conviction
it's
check
continuous.
to decide.
Right.
I'm just gonna get him to kneel on the ground and just order him.
Repeat what the angel says, mortal. And repent for your sins.
This is your only chance.
And then, if you would like for him to repeat the prayer, he will.
Starting again. Oh, immortal Emperor,
Oh, immortal Emperor!
guardian of humanity.
Right, and then skip to the end.
After he's finished it, Garthil's gonna sort of pick him up on his shoulder.
As remembrance for your repentance, mortal, I shall carve a quilla in your forehead. A mark.
Oh my
Oh
god!
my god!
Oh my god! What the fuck?
August is stepping in immediately if he hears that.
Fear can
I'll
inspire,
get
fear can
back
inspire
out.
loyalty.
Alright,
This is just torture.
Hang on.
It's for an artistic skill.
August said they're stepping in immediately after hearing that. August.
No, brother. This mortal is repentant. Whether they know it now or later, they will fear the Emperor.
Do not question my methods.
I'll start to move the knife.
I shall.
No, he will move to... Actually, he'll move to parry.
What?
What?
Parry, yes.
Oh, with your shield.
With my shield!
This technically isn't an attack.
You just,
Garfield.
I'm not doing it fast. I'm just doing it slow, so you can just slowly slide your shield in between.
Well, it would be you are slowly raising your knife, and then August's shield just clanks against it, holding it in place.
What are you doing, cousin?
I'm preventing you from making an irreparable mistake, as Barbas has already
You are
done.
preventing the Emperor's justice. Am I to see you in the same
You're
light as this
preventing.
mortal?
I am preventing your
Do not dare
justice,
speak to
brother.
me like this, cousin.
I'll get up in his face.
If you have
This
words to
is
say,
thick.
prove it. Show me that you've got meaning behind your words.
What are you doing with the mortal?
I just throw him to the side. I've forgotten about him.
Oh, okay, he's run away. He's run away.
No, if I'm just saying, if Garthio's let go of him, Sala has 100% jumped on him.
Oh god, oh, dude.
Poor guy.
we can let this guy run
Okay,
off by now, I
right.
think.
I would like to activate Heat of the Furnace. Unfettered. Or fettered, sorry.
Okay.
What does that do?
What's heat of the furnace?
So I'm just going to set myself on fire,
Okay.
pretty much, is what that does. Bada bing.
So yeah, Dima bursts into green fire.
As you can see, August, even Squad Lead's fury matches mine.
Enough! I have tolerated enough of this outrage. We are here to do the Inquisitors, the Emperor's will, inspire loyalty and direct our wrath towards the Tau and those unrepentant. You sit here to torture civilians who have already repented for what they have done. I will tolerate no more of this blatant disregard for our instruction, and you will obey our objectives accordingly. Sala, Barbas, Garfield, restrain yourselves.
Sala's going to be moved into I'm not going to say like standing up straight or anything, but he's visually going to be moved by Godlead's words, and he's just going to instinctively release the mortal and give Dima the Imperial salute and just say,
Yes, Squad Lead, by your command.
Garthiel will be very pissed. Oh, I guess angry for the monetization. And as he will sort of look at Squad Lead and be like,
You see this as torture and not repentance.
He repented upon the prayer. This is not an excuse to go on a rampage to
It is
feed your
clear he did not
bloodlust.
mean his words, cousin. It is clear that he did not follow through with his prayers for the Emperor. He was just copying what cousin Sala said. He needed proof. He needed a mark. Yet the Emperor watches him. That's what I was providing.
The mark will be etched into his soul for his days to come. Visible or not, I will give you your chance to enact the Emperor's justice and your own to those who deserve it. Any who have gone through reprimandation for their previous actions are cleared under the Emperor's justice for this mission. Do you understand?
Garthiel absolutely seething through his vox.
Yes, Squad Lead.
Good. Barbas, what of you?
He's Barbas is not looking at you. He is, again, maintaining his weapons, just in case. And he is simply going to vox click affirmation. He's not going to speak.
Good.
As Garthiel steps away, he's just going to shoulder bash August.
August has a slight has a furrow to his brow, but there is a slight smirk at the petulance of it.
Right, squad lead, Dima. Where are you wanting to go from here, then?
We shall go to the palace.
So, on the way to the palace is the Master de Laurel. That his base is, like, on the way. So, I don't know if you want to swing by there first.
Yeah, that's probably best. So, yeah, we'll do that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Whilst we're sort of wondering, Salah's just going to take his helmet off and bare his gorgeous eyelashes to Dima, and just say, "Thank you, brother, for reminding me that our purpose is more important than my anger."
We are weapons, not berserkers. We must be used with tact and in the right place upon the right people. If not, we are no better than those we wish to slay in the Emperor's name. Dimo's just gonna like fist bump your shoulder and be like, I appreciate your understanding and your understanding of your wrongdoings.
Thank you, brother. And Salah's going to quickly put his helmet back on before I hear the words "Twist of Fate."
Before you do that, so as you guys are walking through the streets of the city, there are just people around.
Oh, sorry. I'm no longer on fire.
I figured. Don't worry. Sala, as you're about to put your helmet back on, a rock comes flying out of a nearby side street and clatters near you, missing narrowly.
Now, how big is this rock? Is it like
a small rock.
Oh, okay.
Garthiel's chainswords will start
Probably a
revving,
kid.
and I'll start stepping that direction.
But yeah, you can immediately put your helmet back on. But yeah, somebody very clearly just tried to throw a rock at your head.
It appears we are not welcome.
Can I see who's thrown at me, or do I just know of the rock? Can I turn my head and see
awareness
anything?
check.
No bonus.
Can I also
In the meantime, as Garthiel is wandering off, I'm gonna grab him and stop him with my hand, my big meaty power.
So no,
hand,
immediately you
yes.
spot a kind of skinny-looking teenager in ragged clothes, like running away down the side street past a few onlookers who are like kind of gasped.
How far away was he approximately?
He is now probably about maybe 7 meters away.
Yeah, so does Barbas stop me from heading straight towards him?
Yeah, Barbas has grabbed you. You also didn't see it, technically. Only really Sala was in a position to see it.
What I'm going to do then is Sala is going to take the rock off. It's presumably near his feet, right? Can we say it's near his feet?
Yeah.
Sala's going to pick the rock up off the floor. No, that didn't even cross my mind. You fucking animal. You animal. Sala's going to look back at his squad, and he's just going to quickly say, "Let me handle this." And he's just going to run for the boy.
Oh no.
He's just going to run for the boy. Is it easy enough for him to catch the boy? Just to
there
grab
are
him 7 meters?
people actively in the way. They're not actively blocking you, but they are in the way.
Garthiel, as soon as the hand gets placed on his shoulder, immediately turn to grab it and throw it off him. Watch your hands, Barbas, or you will lose it.
Brother Garthiel, we have been given orders by squad lead, and we will adhere to them as he has said. Irregardless of our fury at this populace, their treachery will be noted, but our fury must be redirected elsewhere. Remember the words of Watch Captain Varvarus, that he spoke to you, and listen.
I'll look at Sala, who's actively heading towards him, and be like, does that apply to him too?
Yeah, you can just if you just take a moment, you can just get the crowd, push through people up. Really, I think it's more important. Are you, gently making your way through, or are you Mornavarling through the Davin Moon sort of thing,
Most definitely not the latter. I don't want to turn them into jam.
Yeah. You quickly catch up with the teenager, and
yeah. Oh, sorry.
Do you want to
I was
grab
say,
him?
is he is he out of breath or anything, or do I have to grab him? He's a bit scrawny, a bit malnourished. I just want to know who I'm talking to.
He is a scrawny, greasy-skinned youth who looks kind of withered, too much hard labor, not enough food, and just matted, short, rough-cut hair. It seems like someone's just grabbed a pair of shears and tried to trim it back so that it's out of his eyes and somewhat under control. And But you are able to run him down and like cut him off, but he's going to try and like keep trying to run away from you.
I'm gonna grab him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hurt him. I'm just going to grab him. I'm gonna roll
do you
check
still
for that.
need just a little weapon skill check? Yeah. Yep, that succeeds.
All right. So as I'm holding him, and he's sort of presumably wearing himself out, trying to wriggle free.
Yeah.
I'm just going to slowly come down onto one knee as he's wearing himself out.
Mm-hmm.
And Sal's just going to he's just going to very calmly say, "Be calm, young one." And he's just going to wait a moment longer until he's really worn himself out, and so he can see Sala.
Mm-hmm.
Sala's going to release one hand to take his helmet off, so he can see his face, and he's just going to give him some really deep, intense eye contact for a moment, just to sort of look into each other's souls, as it were.
I'm going to spend my Twist of Fate.
Oh, really? Oh, I was really looking forward to this
time. So, as you are getting down on one knee, your helmet comes off, you look him in the eyes, his hand flashes down to his belt, so down to his trousers, he pulls out a small shiv and goes to stab you straight in the eye, missing and stabbing your breastplate, causing no damage whatsoever.
Are there any people watching?
Yes, several. They saw it. Like, they're aghast. It's like, oh my god, that child's trying to kill the Astartes. What the fuck?
Honestly, I respect him.
Okay, so that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, no, this. I think I can still play this. That's fine. That's fine. You really scared. You scared me. You really scared me with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sala's going to, with his helmet by his side and his free hand, he's going to sort of grab the. He's going to take the shiv and just kind of yeet the thing.
You can just crush it in your hand harmlessly if you would prefer.
Oh, excellent. So Sala's going to take the shiv and just disintegrate that in between his massive fists.
Yeah.
He can see the fury in this child's eyes. And he's just going to say, "The Emperor sees strength in you, young one." And he's going to hand him back the rock he gave him earlier. He gave him a velocity earlier.
Yeah.
And he's going to say, "Use it to build the Imperium, not break it." And he's just going to really try and get that transhuman aura staring into this little guy's eyes, and he's just going to release him. He's just going to release all grip on him and just stand up very slowly.
So
no weapons, no nothing. Helmet still off by his side. Just really trying to have his moment.
The child is like stood there. He kind of like spits, turns, and runs.
Sala's just going to sigh and very sort of defeatedly walk back to the group.
There's definitely some murmurs from people in the crowd who saw that. You're not sure if they're positive or negative.
No. Sala has been emotionally hurt by this. He is. Did the squad didn't see, did he? Did they?
The squad.
I'm pretty sure I see
Constantinos knows your exact location down to the molecules. He has literally collapsed your uncertainty principle at all times.
Tech marine aura, what's this?
He can see you in every spectrum of radiation.
All right, well, Sala's just going to walk back to the group, and as he sort of gets into eye shot of the group, he's just going to put his helmet back on one last time.
Yeah, so you guys didn't really see that transpiring. You saw Sala catch the guy, kneel out of line of sight, stand back up, and then turn around and walk back and put his helmet on.
Barbas is now going to respond to Garthiel. That is why, brother. Your track record does not match for this sort of thing. And then he's going to let him go. Actually, no, he got his hand swat, didn't he? He's going to just put his hand back down by his side.
So I was going to reconnect in formation next to Dima.
So, continuing on through the streets, you're heading to the central administrative
we'll take
building,
the goose V formation and carry forward. Yeah.
So, the streets in the city is a pretty standard Imperial city, which means very flat, square, boxy layouts, wide roads, and remember, the width of a road is the width of a Lehman Russ battle tank as a minimum. So these are quite large, broad roads. Automobiles are being used in this city, so there's a few parked in like sort of side street parking. The place isn't like poorly laid out, but it is bleak. It's grey and black stone, and genuinely the only pops of colour you see are golden skulls, golden aquillas, or Tau propaganda posters, which I assume you're tearing down as you go.
Definitely. Garthiel's like beelining, ripping them off, punching through walls.
I'm actually going to store some for later.
Yeah, no. Your many, many pouches that you have strapped to your armor. Yeah, and as you kind of continue, the people are dressed in these kind of jumpsuits, robes, very standard Imperial dress, trousers, tunics, occasionally maybe some longer coats, some sort of minor nobles who are like kind of out watching the Return of the Astartes. However, I will say as you're walking as well, you will see a person with a very clear piece of Tau tech on their ear.
Who sees it?
Konstantinos is the first person to see it.
Grab Garfield. Grab him.
I'm going to mark it and then just bolt.
I don't think any of you would even think to grab Konstantinos, because Konstantinos has never given that impression to you.
Yeah.
And Konstantinos noticed it before all of you.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. So that means for us, Konstantinos is just, without a word, suddenly bolted off after marking something.
The only word you have is the fact that all of a sudden there's a new blip on your HUD.
To be fair, all of us could catch up to him before he makes it.
This is true.
This
is true. However, Konstantinos can reach the guy in a single round, so... Konstantinos, you have 3 seconds before I assume the squad descends upon you.
Garfield will descend upon the guy.
So to clarify, there's just Tau tech on this
his
dude.
ears.
Like he's just
one of the
flashing
little
it out.
antenna
Like
communication devices. He's wearing it like a Bluetooth headset.
I'm gonna run up and just grab him by the throat and lift him. Is there a wall nearby?
Pretty surprised. Yes, there is a wall nearby, so I think we're just gonna have you auto succeed this.
As I'm gonna lift him up to it. That technology. Where did you acquire it from? As I drop him, but still
so
like
you guys,
ordering
what
him
is the
against
rest
the
of the
wall.
squad doing? By the way, you cannot reach the guy. Konstantinos is very much blocking you.
Just keep walking, I guess.
Sala's going to presumably see Garfield make the first big fucking leap, and he's just going to turn like 180 just to sort of watch the rear with his pistol, his plasma pistol sort of up, aimed, scanning sort of thing.
Dima is just gonna boom to Garfield. Do not kill him.
Garfield hasn't done anything yet. If anything, I'm quartering this man.
Garfield hasn't even seen this thing yet. It's like, oh.
I would like to point out, Barbus has killed a man. Barbus has straight up killed a man, and everyone is piling on Garfield at the slightest movement.
I thought you generally fucked off already, so I thought you already jumped and flew towards him.
Solid didn't kill anyone, Var. He just threatened to kill someone.
No, I did. I killed someone,
Yeah,
and then immediately called out Garfield for going to kill someone. Oh yeah!
Barbara's being a hypocrite. Poor calling me surprised.
That should be his demeanor at this point.
Garfield's fury will be focused on whoever called him out. Who was that? Is it Barbus?
No. Dima said don't kill him, and that's the orders from your squad.
My head will just swiftly zip around do not eschew my actions, squad lead.
Would I be wrong too?
Konstantinos is the one holding him.
Perhaps.
Well, this argument starts up. August is just walking straight past them, not running, just walking.
Yeah, no. I was about to ask what always.
No, the only reason I said that was because I assumed, or I generally thought you had jumped towards the fucking guy. So I was like, don't do it.
I think what he had, Garfield had sprinted towards him, so it's like. And now you've just kind of stopped. Like, Garfield is halfway there. Like, what do you fucking mean? I was going... Yeah.
Turns around, puts his hands out like, what the fuck, man? Like, come on.
I've done anything yet. I've done nothing. Yeah, no. Konstantinos. Yeah, there's this guy. So yeah, you've dropped him. He's like, it was given to me by some Tau merchants. They live on the other side of the planetary palace in domes. It's just a communication device. I didn't know.
So is it like an implant, or is it like easily taken off?
It is very easily taken off. It's literally like a Bluetooth headset.
As I'm going to take it off, like just yank it off. So if it's like inside the ear canal, just kind of that pop feel still happens.
It's actually hooked over the ear, so you can just hook it, take it off. Yeah. What do you want to do with it? You just have it.
As I'm gonna. Is there any like current radio signals or anything coming off of it leading anywhere?
Yes, actually there is. Ooh, clever use of your abilities there. Yes, so you would immediately notice that scanning via your Auspex array, that this signal is in fact transmitting and receiving signals from the other side of the planetary palace, which, and judging by the signals, it probably looks like Tau communications. Sorry, just to clarify one little thing, it's not actively receiving them, like it's not transmitting them into this guy's ear. He wasn't taking this call. It's just picking them up because it's a device. Same way that
it's connected to the network.
Same way your mobile phone is connected to the cellular network.
Because the team is making this fuss and I'm stood behind everyone just sort of scanning around, can I make an awareness check?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. You don't notice anything unusual.
I don't see a thing.
There's a few people watching. I think after the commotion, I think less and less people are watching you because it just seems a bit dangerous. Like, there's very clearly this interest, because Astartes, we've never seen those. It's very rare to see an Astartes in the Imperium. But also, it's maybe probably the worst circumstances to see an Astartes under.
As over Vox squad lead, I had picked up not only one, but 2 avenues of locating potential Tau still located in the city. Brother Sala, if you would like to continue your sermon to another that is needed, that would be appreciated. As Konstantinos is just going to turn around and walk towards Dima, now holding the technology, scanning it.
Sala's just going to look at him and just look at the guy who's against the wall, presumably still browning his pants.
Yeah.
And just put his hand on his shoulder calmly and just start off by saying, "In the Emperor's light." You guys can imagine the rest.
As Konstantinos is walking towards Dima, you did say Garthiel was like kind of halfway there already. Mm-hmm. As he walks by Garthiel, he's going to pat him on the back. "Thank you for jumping to my aid."
Anytime, cousin.
All right.
Best bros.
After Sala has finished giving his sermon, you guys continue on. You arrive at the Central Administratum building. It's a large black Gothic building sprawling, essentially the size of several hab blocks. Think of sort of the Houses of Parliament in Warhammer 40,000. These are long, 3-tiered buildings with towers, peaked with Gothic spires. The central gates of which are very poorly boarded up with a impromptu barricade, behind which is a couple of enforcers, not Arbites, enforcers, planetary police, in carapace armor equipped with shotguns. They take one single look at you guys as you kind of turn the corner and see them, and they throw their weapons down and flee.
Should have kneeled. I opened fire.
The mission to engage, squad lead.
Garfield, go get him.
Konstantinos is the fastest on the draw, who just bang, bang, and there are 2 piles of greasy giblets on the floor.
I thought we were joking.
I thought you were joking.
No.
No.
There is now this very poorly boarded up door to the Administratum building in front of you. There's like some sandbags in front of it.
You stole my kill, Konstantinos.
Should have been faster.
I'll make note of that next time.
Speaking of next time, I do not think it is necessary to slaughter anybody who flees from our path. There are other methods here.
You always excuse the heretical mortals, August.
I always follow mission orders.
Gathel's gonna, huff at that and look away.
Squad lead, if I may.
Yes.
As soon as we're in the building, I'd like to address the scribes. They are more likely to be learned, and so therefore placable with reason.
Yes, you may.
Very well.
Brother Dima, if I may. Reasoning with heretics is unwise.
Letting heretics live is unwise. But we can learn valuable information from them, if need must.
And then we kill them.
If necessary.
If we slaughter the Administratum on this world, it will be a hell of a time bringing it back into the Imperium's fold.
I will just send more.
I say we start here.
If we need to kill them, I have no opposition to this. The planet's state after we leave is none of our concern, and not in our mission parameters. We are here to do our job, not theirs. If they are too far gone, we shall eradicate them.
Their loyalty is our mission,
Yes,
Squad
that's
lead.
why I said if they are too far gone. If we can convert them, we will.
And if not,
then you may.
Did I hear
Garfield
Garfield rev his
grabs
chainsword?
yeah.
I got him before.
I'll
All
make
right.
no promises.
Yeah, there's this boarded up door, by the way, if you guys want to... What do you want to do?
Oh, servo
Do you reckon a
arm.
plasma blast would remove it?
Can we just open the door?
Well, Konstantinos just said that he'd like to use his servo arm, so if the squad is not going to object, Konstantinos is going to walk up and just smash this thing open with his servo arm.
Fair.
Do I need to roll to hit, or is
No,
it just damage?
nope. It
No,
just
the door gets
flies
to roll
open.
to dodge.
Does the door open up and dodge?
What greets you on the other side is a ghost town. There are stacks of papers scattered across the floor. Auto quills lie knocked over, smashed. This place has been abandoned in a panic.
Assuming we're at like the bottom floor of something,
I
right?
wonder why.
Yeah, you're on the bottom floor of... Like, this is the entrance hall, and it's a tip.
Brothers, feel free to check upstairs and see if our objective is nearby. I'd like to stay down here and see if I can find some clues as to their immediate departure.
With pleasure.
Yes, we'll radio you if need be.
Can I check upstairs without going upstairs?
Auspex scans will not reveal anything. The walls are too thick. Looking around, though, there is a floor plan with essentially a layout of the building, and you do see the master's office essentially is very clearly labelled there in sort of the centre of the building on the top floor.
Var,
Yeah.
I would like to try and determine which way they fled using my investigation skill.
Yes, go for it. Would you like a twist of fate, Zarek?
Fucking hit me. It's only one. We're on 0 right now. We can take it.
So, very clearly you can tell they basically all fled out of the main door. The reason that the only logical explanation for why the fucking entrance hall, the sort of large entrance waiting room, would be in such a state is if they used it and fled. Like, there are auto quills knocked over in here. That's not usual. That seems more like someone was carrying one out and it got knocked out of their hands and smashed on the floor.
So they fled in a panic outwards.
Does it look like
Yeah.
it was recent that they fled?
Yes, very recent.
Like hours? Minutes?
It looks like hours, as most of the ink has dried, but some of it is still wet to the touch.
So we've been walking for what, like maybe 10 minutes? It's only been like a mile, right?
Yeah. But you do know that that's probably about the time ships first entered the system.
Brothers, it appears these otherwise hard-working individuals departed their stations upon the fleet's arrival.
He's actually, for a dramatic effect, he's going to take the chrono off of his belt and examine it.
Swear to God.
I'm putting that one requisition to use.
The one chrono. Okay. For those who don't know, a chrono is essentially just the 40k equivalent of a watch.
Not only do they work with the Xenos, they flee with them too. Their cowardice is unmatched.
But it tells us that they'll be hiding in this same place.
I guess we'll start exploring.
Do you want to head? Well, the office of the guy you are here to arrest is like clearly marked. You guys can just head straight there, or do you want to search the building?
Let's split up and look for clues, gang.
No, I agree with that. Yeah. Squad lead demands it.
If we're splitting up and looking for clues, I'm splitting up and looking for clues with Dima, because I wish to have a chat with beloved squad lead.
Konstantinos, you're with me. We'll check the office up top.
Oh.
I take it that nothing's happening. Sala's not found anything in the entrance.
Hey, ghost town, like I said. Yeah.
Just Sala's like rummaging, because Sala is a literary man, so he's rummaging through papers, just reading stuff.
Just administratum reports and busy work, the usual drudgery that clogs up the Imperial system.
Okay, so well, Sala's just going to literally watch the door then. He's just going to wait.
Yeah.
While the others are on a task that August considers probably fruitless, he will step outside and start trying to organize people, call them down onto their knees and try and instill some kind of honor here. I think he'd be yelling like,
there are no people around because Konstantinos just blew 2 people into giblets.
Fair enough.
Preaching to the air.
Oh,
Two
dear.
guards that deserved it.
Yeah. That
Well, here's the
still
question.
scared the shit out of people. They fled.
Are there is there an undercity? Like, is this a tiered hive city, or
No,
is
it
this?
is a flat city.
Oh, that's disconcerting.
Dima Barbas, you are exploring through the administratum building. Essentially, most of these rooms are rows upon rows upon rows of desks and stools with autoquills, stacks of paper, servitors assisting that now lie completely dormant and stationary. It is just cubicle hell, but gothic.
Yes, they put little gargoyles on the edge of each cubicle, yes!
Searching through this place, I'm going to be honest, you're not going to find anything.
Yeah, as we are looking, Brother Dima, I wish you to reevaluate your stance upon bringing this planet into cooperation again. Loyalty can be inspired equally through fear as it can through cooperation. You see it around us, do you not? The administratum of any given planet is the beating heart which fuels the whole thing. At these heretics fled at the mere hint of his grace returning to them, to hide with their Xenos colluders. We cannot possibly wish to welcome them back into the fold of Imperial society when they have forsaken it as such.
Yes, I do not disagree with your viewpoints of loyalty through fear. But there is a time and a place for these types of actions. If you try to inspire fear through a grotesque display to but 2 audience members, you will get nowhere. Do it on a stage where all can see, and that will have more of an effect than you could ever possibly imagine. But what happened back there in that courtyard was unnecessary. Absolutely.
You will have to forgive me for my outburst back in the courtyard. It was uncharacteristic of me. But simply put, this planet, these heretics, they boil my blood, Brother Dima. Such a failure on so many levels is an affront to the Emperor himself.
No, I can care. But we must do our duty first and above all else. Or else there's no point in us being here. You will have your chance to inspire as much loyalty as you want for any means you want, but that is not to a couple peasants on a town floor.
Very well then, Brother Dima. I will hold you to it. As he, now we wander off to go find the rest of the squad, I guess.
August, Sala, you guys are just kind of guarding the entrance.
Your temperament is commendable, Brother August.
Is it? I'll tell you, brother. It's boiling.
You misunderstand me. Your desire to protect the people here, it is commendable.
For the most part, I must say, I think yours might also be, but your temper requires tempering.
Unfortunately, I fear you may be wrong. I chased that child. I brought him down to one knee. He tried to stab me in the neck and failed. I hate to say it, Brother August. I do believe in the good of humanity, the good of the mortals, but on this world, I am sadly starting to believe that Brother Garfield's way might actually be the right one.
Let me tell you something, brother. It is not for you to repeat to others. It is the way of my chapter. In our business, we seek out the mortals. We seek to redeem them. But we will, through that process, be forced to slaughter many. Most, in fact. But what we are searching for, brother, is one good soul in a den of insidious snakes. It is our duty to root out the good and wield it against the many evils of this galaxy. All we need is one good soul on this world. And I do not doubt that there is at least one. No people could be so corrupted so completely, so quickly. It is my duty to find the redemption in these people.
Your words are moving, brother. I will set aside my rage and my despair, and I will do what you can, what we can together to find that one good soul. I hope we do, sincerely.
As do I. But I fear the next act we must take will be one of slaughter. They've run, brother. And I know where they've run to.
Meanwhile, ascending up the spiral staircase of the central tower to the Master's office. It's this big, long, cylindrical construct coming out of the middle of the Administratum building. And Constantinos and Garthiel, you are just trudging up the stairs. They're not built for Astartes, so it's almost like you're having to kind of go up them on tiptoe, but they are wide and grand, so they are easily supporting your power-armored bulk, though each step leaves mild cracks in the stonework.
Constantinos.
Yes, brother.
I wish to pick your brain for a second. A question that you might know the answer to. It is personal, but still inquires about our squad. Why do they not pick me for squad lead?
Shit! Brother Garthiel, it seems that you lean too much into a direct specialty. It seems as a son of Sanguinius, you follow that pride in a certain way that brings honor to your own chapter. You are hot-headed, determined, and first to bring glory to the Emperor.
These are admirable qualities for captain in my chapter, is it not for others?
It is. Konstantinos is he's looking up, trying to think of how to put this in a way that he would understand.
As dense as Garthiel is, he does understand the basic social cues. He'll just look at Konstantinos like, give it to me straight, cousin. I've handled much worse words back from my home world.
You are better as a blade than a brain.
Oh, take a fucking D10 of damage.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Garthiel will think it for a few seconds at that comment. But cousin, is a blade not needed in some situations more than others?
Yes, brother. A blade is more than useful for the missions we are sent out on, and that is what you do quite well. But you fulfill the role of a blade quite well, with or without being squad lead. And although personally, I thought perhaps you could lead this mission quite well, your ability to put an image straight is quite impressive. Your previous deeds have not gone unnoticed, at least by me. But it seems more often than not, the experiences of the individual brothers and their histories with their chapter rub off the wrong way with how you do things and how your chapter does them. Not that it is wrong, but it is something that has not yet been adapted to.
I will ponder your words, Konstantinos. It is wise. If you have any more wisdom for me, I allow you to share it. Thank you.
Of course, brother.
That is not something I often say.
It is not taken lightly. Thank you.
What do you see in the room, cousin?
Speaking of, actually, hold on a sec there, Ed. You guys, having kind of sort of finished your conversation a bit more and having continued on after Konstantinos collected his thoughts, have arrived at the top of the stairs. Ahead of you is a small semicircular waiting room with some benches either side, and in front of you is a large wooden door embossed with golden filigree. Konstantinos, you are detecting a singular heat signature inside.
I'm gonna ping where the heat signature is. Garthiel, it seems we are not alone. Beyond this door seems to be potentially someone we are after. Should I go ahead and clock it in with squad lead, or should we try to handle this ourselves?
Garthiel looks at his chainsaw. I suppose we should clock it in, but he'd better be swift.
Konstantinos, underneath his helmet, smiles as over the vox. Squad lead. We have located a heat signature behind some grandiose wooden doors. If you'd like to join us, that would be much appreciated.
I see.
Garthiel will interrupt over the vox. Permission to engage, squad lead.
We will get there post-haste. You may enter preemptively, but don't do anything drastic without my permission.
It looks like we have the green light, Konstantinos.
He nods. Is the door unlocked?
Do you just want to go up and test it?
Yeah.
There's some resistance. It feels like something's barring it.
I'm gonna step out of the way for Garthiel.
Garthiel will then smash it down with his, like, just a full-on Spartan kick.
All right, give me a strength
He'll
check.
chant his chapter's battle cry before he kicks. For blood, for glory, for the Emperor! He smashes it down.
Whoa.
The door buckles for a moment, seeming that the hardwood is going to resist the bite of your kick, but then cracks inwards, tumbling away in a pile of splinters and debris and dust. As the dust clears in but 2 heartbeats, a random blast of blue energy flies completely wild, well over your shoulders, striking into the rockwork behind you. The origin of which is a fat, bulbous man with a receding hairline, dressed in fine administratum robes, stood trembling, holding a Tau pulse pistol behind a large wooden ornate desk. Your helmet immediately identifies this man as one of your primary targets. This is, in fact, Master D. Laurel himself.
Out of curiosity, how much does the pistol weigh?
Oh my god, enough. You can do it. You can do it.
As I am going to pull it forth towards my hand.
So what does this look like? You succeed. What does this look like?
Konstantinos, he holds out his hand in front of him as the pistol just goes flying into it, crushing it.
the man just exclaims.
As much force as he can in his voice, he yells out, "Kneel!"
I think with that, the guy just drops to his knees, a blubbering, sweating mess. Please, no! I didn't know it'd be Astartes! I wouldn't have tried! I wouldn't!
You lie to his angels as well, as I'm stepping towards him.
No, please!
You are lucky that you are valuable alive. As I'm gonna, grab him by the collar and, lift him up to his legs.
I have files on the Tau intelligence! Just let me live. Please, let me go. You'll never see me again. I'll disappear. I have intelligence. I can be useful.
I pull out the handcuffs of what are they called, restraints, and just, slap it on him.
These restraints, by the way, are full body restraints. They can go around the neck, hands, neck, wrists, and ankles. They are full body restraints.
I'm full body restraining him.
Yeah, let's get kinky with it, yeah.
My hope is that once the interrogator is done with you, you'll be a blubbering mess, repenting to the Emperor.
Please. I can make you a rich man. Whatever you want, I'll get you. I have influence. I have power.
Garthiel, hold on. Where are these files that you speak of?
In my desk. In the safe. Let me go, and I'll show you it, and then you'll never see me again.
I'm just going to clamp his legs and hands and his chest. Keep his mouth open.
I'm going to, move the servo arm down towards his hands. I think you're going to tell me what it is now.
Intimidation check. The servo arm maybe, seizes for a moment, which kind of took away from the effect, but then it lurches forward menacingly around his hands, giving that kind of slightly unnatural body movement that really drives it home. He's like, fine, behind the portrait, behind the oil painting, please, just don't leave my hands, please.
I guess I'm gonna walk through the oil painting.
So there is a large oil painting of what you realize is a generous interpretation of this man. It is a version of him with a statuesque chin, rippling abs, in a open shirted cloak. And it's sort of, you can't really walk through it, but, you can just rip it off the wall.
Garthiel counting this as Tau propaganda will destroy it.
And if Garthiel wants, you can just tear it to pieces with the chainsword.
Yeah, just mid-air, tear it, just, use it as target practice.
I just toss it back, and like a dog, he catches it and just...
Yeah, catches it by slicing it in half with the chainsword. So behind is a small, simple safe. Konstantinos, you do not need a combination for this. You have a servo arm.
Open sesame.
So yeah, you, with the servo arm, crumple the front of this safe, and there is a stack of data slates inside.
Oh, I'm gonna be reading up on these.
What is it, cousin?
It is information.
Better you read it than I, eh?
Yes. Next you'll be telling me that you can see through your helmet as well as smelling through it.
I can see through it.
And Constantinos over the Vox. Squad lead.
Yes.
We found one of the primary objectives.
Very good. Have you restrained him?
Yes.
Excellent. Anything else to note?
Several data slates for Tau information.
Are you able to interpret them?
I can interpret them, right?
They are in Gothic, so yes, you can understand them. You'll need some time to really go through them, but hey, who knows?
Yes, brother. Consider it already started.
So do you want to... So by now the squad will catch up. This guy is restrained. Do you want to call in Gracchus and load this guy onto the Black Star, or do you want to keep him with you?
Should we just get him on for Black
We
Star?
should probably load him.
Yep.
Yeah, knowing our luck, we're just going to get Twist of Fate shot by a Tau suit and... bada thing.
While we wait for Gracchus to show up, can we
Yeah.
interrogate him about some more questions?
Yeah, sure. What do you got in mind?
Can I pinch the data slates off Constantino so we can tag team it to just start reading through everything?
Yeah.
It is genuinely absolute reams of information. You cannot make any progress. They need long-term analysis.
Well, you're always going to start somewhere. Just get reading.
Yeah. So you and Constantinos can do that. He genuinely doesn't seem to know much from interrogation. He is completely cracked by this point. Basically, the story he kind of tells you is him, the Archdeacon, and the Planetary Governor, and a bunch of the other nobles and traders in this area had very good relations with the Tau. The Tau started basically improving the general standard of living on the planet, and then they basically offered them to break away from the Imperium. They promised to protect them from the Imperium. The Tau defensive force they sent here was a pittance compared to the Damocles Crusade that just hit it, and was utterly wiped out and forced the Tau in full retreat because they cannot get reinforcements here fast enough, and they have completely lost the beachhead. The Tau basically have said, we have to abandon your planet. We will come back for you.
Can you explain why he's here, but everyone else has evacuated?
He tried to convince the Adeptus Administratum scribes to kind of do a last stand with him and hold out until the Tau got here. The Adeptus Administratum scribes basically went, they're gonna kill you. We might have a chance to survive if we just disappear, because our faces aren't in Imperial records. And they abandoned him.
Can we get him to ID these people for when the Inquisition take over this planet?
Yeah, you can, but that's a long-term process.
Can he tell us about the Tau on the other side of the city?
Basically, that was where they had been building some sort of Tau infrastructure, starting to get the planet a bit more adjusted. They then got repurposed into being evacuation centers. The Tau civilians and administrators that had been already moved to this planet were taken to those evacuation centers, and he believes that they are pretty much 99% evacuated, maybe 100%. Obviously, the humans kind of got left behind. Some humans were evacuated with them.
Oh, heretics. Any, Tau battle suits he's seen?
Yes. Yeah, he's seen fire suit. He's seen lots of fire casts. They have all left.
Cool. Can you tell us what he knows about the other two primary targets?
The Archdeacon is basically trying to peacefully protest his way out of this, and the Planetary Governor has decided to barricade himself in the palace like a tick. And he denied this guy entry, and the Deacon was like, fuck off as well. Neither of them like him.
What does he know about Puretide?
Nothing. He just knows he's a legendary Tower commander.
Speaking of, because I assume Space Marines can feather read through data slates pretty quick. Just looking for a word specifically.
Yeah, sure.
A word that rhymes with Schmiertide by any
No,
chance?
there is no information in Puretide that you can see within these data slates through quick scans.
Rat.
Oh.
Is there any information about Commander D?
Commander
Yoda?
D. Yohon. Yes, there is.
Please
In
tell
fact,
us.
this guy knows Commander D. Yohon personally, because Commander D. Yohon is the commander who has essentially been placed in charge of what the Tower refer to as high priority target acquisition. And the Master, Master D. Lahar, knows he's on that list. That's why he thought he could hold out long enough for Commander D. Yohon to come save him.
So we can assume from that Commander D. How do you pronounce it?
Dion.
D. Yohon.
Yohon is probably here to extract the targets that we have to as well. Okay, can he tell us about the defences of the palace?
There is a reasonable force of stormtroopers that are the planetary governor's personal guard. They will be in there with automated defense turrets.
Does he know any details about any back ways in, where the locations of the terminals to turn the turrets off are, etc., etc.? Can we cut power to this place?
He doesn't know, but there might be something in the data.
Can we keyword search palace?
So, if Konstantinos will give me a tech use check.
Can I commune with these data ports, perchance?
Go for you can plug into the central cogitator bank of the building. So, examining the streams of data, it takes you about an hour, genuinely. But you manage to find the Imperial Palace plans, decrypt them, and access them. And you realize you can remote terminal activate the sentry guns, and their machine spirits are pretty pissed because there is Tau tech near them.
Can we cross-reference this with our cartograph to find the best way to infiltrate this palace?
There isn't a good way. Yeah, cross-referencing it with your cartograph, there is no good infiltration points. But essentially what I'm saying is, Konstantinos, you can just activate the automated defenses to attack the guards.
Hell yeah.
Oh, Konstantinos is just a candy right now.
You will need to get to a data port within the palace, though, and then make a tech use check. But you will be able to do that, and that will probably break the personal guard.
Would the cartograph show, because it's got schematics and everything, would it show where the nearest data port is?
If you basically breach through the side of the planetary palace, storm up through one of the side gardens, and break through the first defensive bulkhead, you'll have access to one. It means you might have to fight your way through 10, 20 men, and then you will be able to just rout the rest.
Awesome. Can this our prisoner here tell us about the characters of the other two primary objectives?
He thinks they're both assholes.
August does have another question.
Were there any prisoners of conscience, nobility, or people of the lower classes and orders who stood against this Tau takeover?
Yes, there was several, but we had secret police rout them out, capture them, and mass executed.
So none are left?
No.
They are left, Garfield. The smart ones, anyway.
We shall see. I'll be sure to pass on these actions of yours to the interrogator.
And my compliance. Don't forget my compliance, please. I was willing. I was helpful.
I'm going to just put
I
on
want
his
redemption.
face mask just on talking.
You are outside of the Administratum building. Gracchus has just taken off in the Corvus Blackstar with Master D. Laurel loaded in. You are stood in the street. It is deserted. There are no people who want to be anywhere near you after what they've seen so far.
Good. Brothers, I have an idea.
Go on.
Those people rioting, rallying behind the Archdeacon, they're the core of this populace. And I don't think anything we can do physically is going to make them change their minds. They're believers in this Xenos filth. And I know it might offend some of you, it even offends myself, but I have an idea to turn them without killing them all.
You would spare the heretics.
They can die in the camps at a later date. But for now, we need to focus on turning the populace, don't we? That's the whole purpose of our objective here. Why don't we abandon making an immediate beeline for Elias? Why don't we instead make a beeline for the governor? If we can apprehend him, we can, I'm sure with a little persuasion, force him to see our point of view. We could make him say something Tell them something over their Vox network. I'm sure the populace of this world would change their minds very quickly if they believed that their beloved, filthy archdeacon was planning to say, kill them all in the name of the Tau.
So August will chirp up here. He'll say,
A fine plan, brother. But I feel these believers need to witness something firsthand. They flock to this deacon because they believe he is the source of divinity on this world. I am certain that not an insignificant number of them would kneel before the sight of angels. If we can appear before them in holy fire, which of them would not know their fealty to the God Emperor?
Yes, we will stick to the original plan and go after Elias first, for we can knock out 2 objectives at once and secure the most important one.
Understood.
If I may, squad lead, perhaps we could call Gracchus back and make an aerial entrance, something awesome, to inspire these people to compliance.
I can't help but agree. Yes, let's do that.
So you get on the Vox, contacting Gracchus, telling him to land where he just took off from, and you just get this very snippy, "Oh, I see you've made up your mind." And Gracchus lands the Corvus Blackstar. You guys can board, and it will take off, stream over the city at supersonic speeds, arriving within seconds at the sort of temple district. He sort of does a circling of it. "It looks rather nasty down there, Squad Ignis. There appears to be a large number of mortals gathered outside of the central cathedral. Advisement."
August looks at Dima with like a very strong patience in his eyes.
Yes. Drop us near the source of their excitement. We have something to say.
"How close do you want me to get you, Squad Lead?"
Quite.
"Moving automated guns to standby. Missiles hot. Hellfire rounds loading. If they attempt to storm this vehicle, it is my duty as its tech marine to ensure they burn. But I'll get you close."
Yes, do what you must.
You can hear, like, the faint whine of his revving up assault cannons as he brings the Corvus Blackstar in super, super close to the crowd, who begin to back away as its jets stream wind down onto them. "Doors opening. There's going to be a slight jump." The doors of the Corvus Blackstar fly open. You can see the crowd. Gracchus has essentially brought it so that its nose is above the head of the closest crowd member, and you guys are about to essentially jump out of it and land directly in front of these guys. There is, however, the central cathedral complex directly behind this large crowd of protesters. It looks like very easily 1,000 people or so. And yeah, you don't know where Elias is. He's probably in that central cathedral. This is his protest. He might even be in the crowd. You don't know.
Brother Dima, would you say now is the time for the alternate method of inspiring loyalty?
Yes, I would say it's quite right.
August is going to run. He sees what's about to happen, and he wants to prevent this if he can help it.
So these are all people who just do not give a single about the Emperor, right?
Looking out over the Corvus Blackstar, you see a tide of humanity holding up signs and placards and torches that say stuff like the Imperium is tyrants, no tithes without a representation. The Tau come in peace. Friendship with Xenos are not heresy. The Emperor is a forgiving god.
Oh,
yeah.
You see placards all like that.
this all sounds like Tau propaganda.
Okay, but I do want to state, it is unknown if our target is within the crowd.
Oh, can me and Constantinos, me with my specializing, Constantinos with his everything.
Yeah, both of you can make awareness checks, but that's going to give August enough time to leap out.
Garthia will also leap out with a jump pack.
I'm not going to make an awareness check then. I'm going to jump out before August can.
Okay, so Constantinos, as far as you can tell, your target is not in the crowd. The 3 of you land down. You are like 5 meters from the edge of the crowd, if that, like maybe 3.
Barbus is immediately going to close the distance and grab the closest guy by the throat and lift him up. He's going to crank up his vox to the maximum volume.
While Barbus is running for the crowd, August is also going to crank up his vox emitter and shout into the crowd, like pointing at the sign that says the Emperor is a forgiving god, and he'll say,
It is true, the Emperor forgives his loyal servants, but we, his angels, are not happy with you. You will be forgiven if you hand us Elias Abnen.
You have already proven your disloyalty. The most you can ask for is forgiveness in the eyes of the Emperor, lest we deliver his mercy.
As he just... Would he cast this guy to the side?
August, you see as you give this speech and Barbus kind of backs you up, you see that Barbus's actions basically nearly provoke the full crowd, but you, via your expertise in sort of converting back Imperial populations or inspiring them to rise up against their oppressors, you manage to hold the crowd for another moment. But they look ready to start tearing you guys to pieces. They were really not happy about immediate violence. Sala and Dima are still on the Corvus Blackstar, by the way.
So are we just going to hop? We're going to hop off the Black Star now, right?
We're both going to hop out, yeah.
Constantinos, you've hopped out as well, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
So we're in like the middle of a circle of fucking... It's like, we're in like a pit, aren't we? Like, mosh pit.
You are, so there are no people behind you, but they're starting to curve around you to encircle you, yeah.
Okay, Dima is going to make an intimidate check. But
An intimidate?
Intimidate. But before he intimidates, I would like to cast a Avenger up into the sky.
Okay. Directly above you is your own Corvus Blackstar.
I'll tell him to move.
just a pre-warning. Do you... Grax is going to... Do you wish for me to stay in the area to provide supporting fire?
Yes, please. Just get out of the immediate airspace above us.
I'll be circling overhead. Weapons still primed.
Very good.
And then he just sort of jets away and starts circling the plaza menacingly.
So we're going to hop down, and I'm going to do... Let's do unfettered, just for a bit of extra oomph to it, you know? So all these people are going to see is this gigantic, just wave of fire appear from above us into the sky.
Green fire.
Yes.
Don't forget.
How much of a bonus is that going to give my intimidate check?
Oh, I think seeing, like, it's a pretty impressive display. And Psychers, especially Starty Psychers, do definitely inspire a lot of fucking fear in the Imperial populace. I'm going to give you a +10 to this intimidate.
+10, very good, very good.
Yeah.
+10. Upon shooting the Avenger up, I'd preemptively turned my Vox all the way to the fucking max.
Yep.
And just hit them with a fucking, I command thee, kneel, as I shoot the fire up.
Oh no. Oh no. About as much tact as a grenade.
We're not Space Marines. This is our job.
Bada bing.
We scare people and we kill them.
There, you see some knees go down. Like, genuinely, you like immediately around you, you just see some people like shocked and terrified and drop from the fire. The further they are away from you, the less likely they are, but the ones basically immediately near you are all on their knees. And then it loses its effectiveness the more you go back. Definitely, though, something to point out, it was actually quite hard for the rest of the crowd to hear you over the fucking Black Star's engines. So this is the first thing that is... Basically, the Black Star's gone away, the crowd has been shouting and cheering, it's like, "Boo! Get out! Get out! Independence!" And then the Black Star's flown away. This big, huge gout of witch fire has flown into the sky, stunning everyone for a second, being the first time they've probably ever seen battle psychic powers go off, being the first time they've ever seen an Astartes using that, being the first time most of them have seen an Astartes. And then just this fucking booming, reverberating voice around a plaza designed to reverberate speeches. Kneel! And you just see so many of the crowd just drop up to one knee.
Dima is just going to signal to Sala to take over.
Sala is going to very dramatically draw, with a loud shing, is going to draw Ignis Renatus and point it towards the sky like the Tron poster. And he's going to set his Vox to max, raised sword at everyone, and he's going to say,
Citizens of the Imperium, in the Emperor's light, we are united. Let his grace be our guide, not our anger.
And he's going to activate, as he's holding it up in the air, he's going to activate the hilt, the sort of the power of it. So that anyone who's got a good view of it can see it. The sword electrify go up it, and he's going to continue by just saying,
"Rise, sons and daughters of the Imperium. Cast off the Xenos lies, for the Emperor's truth shall set you free."
Give me a charm check. You notice a change in the crowd from this. They're no longer kind of angry. They almost seem kind of ashamed. They kind of, like, you've definitely knocked the wind out of them. You have not won them over, but they are no longer angry. They are quite meek at this point. They seem kind of like a bit ashamed, a bit awkward.
Sala's going to get on the Vox just so that the squad can hear him. He's just going to quickly get on the Vox. He's going to quickly say,
"Quick, brothers, help those around you off their feet."
And he's going to so as he's got all their attention with the sword. He's going to put the sword down, and he's going to literally go to the nearest person on their knees in front of him. He's going to grasp them by the hand and slowly sort of raise them up, trying to keep this image going.
Konstantinos is going to stow his bolter away and start helping people with free hands.
You guys can basically start to make your way through the crowd if you want. Like, whilst you're doing this, they're not blocking you.
Barbus, Garfield, do as they say. Help them up. Save our image.
You would let me touch a traitor with my hand, but not my chainsword?
Brother Garfield, this is true repentance.
Sala is moved by this image.
Sala will remember that.
Sala will remember this.
Sala.
Garfield will help one of the people up, just sort of in disgust.
One.
Like with one finger. Just like
grab them by the wrist and like pull them up before letting go when they're like a meter above the air.
That was the Donald Trump handshake. Let's go.
Yeah.
August is going to stride in amongst them and just helping people up. The first child he sees, he's going to like say a short prayer for them. Just like a sort of muttering off his lips, a sort of second nature to a Space Marine. He's going to hand them the chrono, which over the course of their journey to this world, he's inscribed with a number of like sigils that he's carved with his knife into the back of the chrono. And he'll say gently to the child,
"You are the Emperor's child. Take this. Know that it is the blessing of an angel. He smiles upon you, and your life may yet be led in glory."
Yeah, you guys can literally just make your way through the crowd, helping people up. People dropping to their knees as you get closer to them. There's like I said, the crowd hasn't fully turned. It's still like very on edge, but like they weren't really expecting this. They were expecting sort of jackboot marching on them. They were expecting the Mordians, and they got Deathwatch, who then made a speech and like demonstrated power. Yeah, they've been taken off guard.
Barbus, the guy that he, murderized, he's going to arrange his body in a sort of like funeral position, like arms crossed over his chest, and as well as Space Marine can, close his eyes. And to like the nearest people, so like people in a sort of radius around him, because his vox is still quite loud, simply say, "Let this be the only blood shed today."
You guys have reached the mouth of the cathedral. Before you is a series of titanic statues of the Primarchs, the loyalist ones.
Of course.
Flanking either side of the chamber. And at the other end is a giant statue of the Emperor, immortalized in cables. Sort of kind of like prostrate on the cables like Jesus is on the cross. But kind of like lower hands in kind of more of an air pose with his hands bare, the cables kind of stabbing through them and sort of trailing down, all carved out of beautiful marble and detailed with gold. This cathedral looks like it could probably hold 2,000 people. It is ginormous. And through the many, many pews, you can see at the other end, the far end of this giant, giant hall, a figure kneeling before the Emperor, kneeling before the altar, dressed in fine ecclesiastic robes. Blocking your path towards him, sort of at the base of the altar, are 3 crusaders. These are humans dressed in power armor with storm shields and power swords. They stand perfectly still, staring you down.
Are their weapons in their sheaths or hands?
They are sheathed at the moment. Their shields are resting on the ground.
August, incensing this tense in Barbus to his side, is going to yell out,
Elias, the time has come to answer for your crimes.
No response.
Are we sure that is Elias?
Your helmets recognize him, yeah. You get an accurate ping, that's him. Konstantinos, Barbus, both of you, you're 100% sure these are the only people in this room. However, you're both starting to get a bit of sense of distortion from an unknown source.
Like, what kind of sense of distortion?
Would they recognise it as like Tau interference, like we've had in the past, like stealth suit?
No, it does not. It does not look like stealth suit interference.
Sula's going to look at Dima. Does the Imperium have any answers, brother?
Does the Imperium have any answers?
There is, in fact, actually, I would say it's kind of like a warp distortion field in this area. Like, all this faith is kind of clouding your connection to the Imperium. It distorts it, almost soothes it. Shapes it.
It's a bit foggy. Nothing I can tell out of the ordinary.
Over Vox, Konstantinos is going to speak. Brothers, I don't like this one bit. I suggest we shoot first.
I concur.
No, let us attempt peace before.
We need him alive.
And as he says that, by the way, Barbus is in fact going into a defensive stance behind one of the pews in Overwatch. So he's got his heavy bolter at. In fact, no, he's got his plasma gun at the ready this time. He's resting his heavy bolter like on the pew with his plasma gun trained on these Crusaders.
Garfield will speak up over and speak to the Crusaders and Elias as he takes a step forward, chainswords ready, as he shouts,
Mortals, move! Elias Abneen, come with us. Your time of repentance has come.
One of the Crusaders barks back at his own power armor Vox turned up. My lord is praying and will not be disturbed.
By an angel! He will not be disturbed by an angel!
These are my lord's wishes, and I, as a knight of the ecclesiarchy, will not disobey my lord's commands.
Who are they praying to?
The Emperor, of course. The same god you claim to be an angel of.
And you disagree with this, mortal?
My lord is praying, and he has instructed me to keep guard.
Garfield will just look around, look for Dima.
Squad lead.
Yes.
This is getting nowhere.
I agree.
Are you guys closing the distance at all, or are you literally like shouting at them across
I imagine we're walking.
I'm not. I'm stood completely still.
I know you're stood still by the door, Barbus.
But how many meters from Elias am I?
They are like probably you guys like having this big shouting match, like over probably 150 meters.
I'll just like march towards them, get 30 meters away, and just shout, "Move!"
I want to get 15 meters away from him.
August will shut the doors.
Sal's going to get close to the guys, the Crusaders, but not like obviously not not in licking distance. And he's going to just sort of shuffle into one of the pews and sit down and pray as well.
The pews will not take your weight.
You just fall over
you
backwards.
can see that from looking at them.
Well, I guess I'm standing in the pew then.
In that case, once everyone's moved to their positions, I'm going to move up within 40 meters, I think is the number of the day.
So just to clarify, Garfield, Sala, and August are all standing like basically right in front of the Crusaders, like what, 5 meters away?
30 for me.
August will shut the doors first, but yes.
Okay, August shuts the doors.
I would like to be 15 meters away from this guy.
Okay.
I would like to be 20.
All right.
I'll be as close as possible without actually touching him.
All right, so Sala is literally like stood directly opposite this one Crusader.
Yeah, just half tucked into a pew, stood up.
Yeah, Garfield is. Oh, so you're like off to one side, praying in one of the pews.
I'm not kneeling. I'm stood in the pew. I know I'm facing guys with weapons, but I am sort of.
Yeah.
I'm going to speak over Vox to Dima.
Squad lead, with your permission, I can fly over these heretics and collect Elias for myself, while you deal with the Crusaders.
August will mention just on the box.
This is not out of character for a member of the ecclesiarchy. They tend to be somewhat uproarious in the way that they demand tests of faith from any who should, by all accounts, be considered more faithful.
Va, can I do something fun here?
What?
Can I invoke my chapter demeanor, his will manifest, to just outpray this guy? do a prayer so damn revenant, so pious in nature, that he cannot help but turn around and quiver in his little Ministorum standard ecclesiarch boots at the beacon of faith that I am.
Alright, give me a charm roll. You are making this charm roll as if you were trained in charm.
Oh my god.
We're about to see a success by point one.
Eat it!
Okay. So, Croc, describe to me how Barber steps forward and makes this man repent and realize he has betrayed the Emperor of Mankind.
I can send you a prayer. Do you want a prayer?
I could definitely
Do not
the prayer,
do a
please.
full prayer reading. Just give me a description, please.
So, Barbus, as you know, has on him at all times like little just smorgasbord of little religious trinkets. You know, he's got his Quila necklace, his very fancy ornamental robe, you know, all these little bits and bobs. He's going to step out from his defensive position and approach as close as Salah is. But on his way, he's going to gather, like, loose bits of parchment that are on the floor, or, like, loose candles, and, like, really just set up a little nest of prayer, like his own little personal shrine. Which point he's going to kneel by it. He'll, like, flip up part of his tabard, because obviously, as everyone knows, because everyone's very well aware of Barbus's backstory, this was, in fact, once upon a time, the company banner for the 5th Company. Yes, I know my uncle. The 5th Company. Of which the worn letters are still somewhat visible. And in one hand he's holding, like, in between thumb and forefinger, symbol of the Aquila, and the other reading like parchment, these ancient robes of such a standard. And he's also gonna take his helmet off. Oh yeah, the helmet's coming off. He's just gonna start reciting prayer. Like, it's quite monotone. There's not much variance in it, but it's loud. Like, it's coming straight from the chest. Loud enough, it's like, it's a constant droning of religious just background noise. So much so that this guy can't focus on his own prayer. Like, he just can't. He cannot tune this out. This loud, low drone of just, in his name, I do my duty, blah, 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 blah. Just pure background noise. It's like the kind of thing where it's infuriating how much he's going on about it. So the idea is...
Is it like a one-man Sardaukar chant?
Yeah. Yeah. It's entirely the case. He's got his little religious trinkets. He's reading this tad bit of banner over and over because it's, like, destroyed, you know. Certain words don't match up. He doesn't care. He's just reading the whole thing over and over. And I imagine, at your discretion, that this guy is just getting pissed off about it. There's the little jumps in words, which sounds like he might be messing up the prayer, but he just keeps going. So the whole idea is he gets so frustrated, he has to turn around and talk to him. He has to break his own prayer, otherwise he cannot continue, because he cannot focus.
So as you're doing this, the priest will stand up and go, "Why do you taunt me like this? Do not think that I have mulled this over so much. Do not think that I regret. Do not think I have doubts. But the Tau do not banish the Emperor, and they do not cause suffering to the people like the Imperium does."
Barbus is going to keep going for a good, 5 or 6 seconds, where he stops, and he's not going to look up. He's going to say, "What is it to give in to temptation?"
"It is a sin." He sort of looks away, maybe slightly ashamed for a second. "But I was not tempted, Astartes. I serve the people. I serve the Emperor through the people."
"What is it to turn your back on the Imperium? His Imperium?"
"'Tis treachery."
"What does treachery amount to, Ecclesiarch?
Heresy.
And yet you sit here and pray to his image. Your flock outside led astray by your words. The failure of one has condemned the many to suffering.
He sort of places a hand to his head, looking downwards, sort of shaking a little bit. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought this is what the Emperor wanted. I thought we were entering a new age. An age where man could prosper and no longer suffer after the ignominy of the treachery of the past. He gestures towards the Primarchs.
That is your failure, Ecclesiarch. What you see as suffering is toil in his name, doing as he wills, and yet you are blind to it. As soon as these Xenos, these alien, wave in front of you, easy relief. As soon as you can get off without proper atonement, bite at it like a hungry dog.
He sighs, looking down. To suffer is the Emperor's greatest blessing.
You will come with us, Ecclesiarch. You will answer to his agents, his Inquisition. You will see firsthand what suffering in his name truly is, and only then will you understand what true service to the Emperor looks like. And now he is going to put his helmet back on and motion for Dima to pass him the restraints.
And Dima will do so.
Reeled in. Fuck this guy.
So the Archdeacon begins to walk down from the raised dais of the altar, and you are about halfway to him, and he is about halfway down the stairs when Konstantinos, please make me a tech use check. I am going to spend
Oh no.
a twist of fate, and please re-roll that. Your Vox crackles as the doors of the cathedral blast open. You hear screams of panic from outside. Highlighted in the light of day, a silhouette is an immense Tau battlesuit enforcer pattern, flanked by 3 crisis suits. It has been a long time, Astartes, but once more we meet. And then, blasting from the crisis suit's own systems, Archdeacon, we are here for your extraction. Hey, Varvus here, coming at you from the depths of the warp. Thank you so much for watching the pilot of Deathwatch, the Puritanicals. It means so much to me and everyone. A lot of time and effort has gone into this, and we really hope it's, something you enjoyed. We've got more episodes lined up already. Hopefully they should be a bit shorter. We're aiming for about under 30 minutes in future. But if that's not what you want to see, please leave some feedback in the comments. I'm very passionate about this, and I'd love to go full-time and really deliver a great show to everyone who's watching. So if you'd like to stay tuned for that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Join our Discord, and if you really want to help me succeed in this project, support me on Patreon. We've got some fun stuff over there already, and some more stuff coming down the pipeline. Maybe a patrons game, we'll see. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and remember, suffer not the alien to live.